The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
On behalf of myself and Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, we would like to wish you a very happy holidays. And don't forget, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is open 24/7 for emergency services to make sure you stay warm this holiday season. Go to standardheating.com today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
We're going to open up a franchise. It's a strip club for fat dudes that's going to be stripping, and we're going to sell chicken. It's called Chicken Dales.
This is crazy. In Georgia, a stripper successfully carried out a bank robbery. Bank employees say it's the first time they've been robbed by someone who entered the bank to the song Cherry Pie. Looks so good, makes a grown man cry.
Yes, sweet cherry pie.
Thank you, Andy.
Yes.
A stripper in Wisconsin was arrested after reportedly biting a man's crotch in the middle of a lap dance. I did hear he left her a tip.
I want to go to my strip club.
If you want me to strip, I better get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Wait just a minute.
What?
Josh.
What?
A stripper in Wisconsin bit a customer on the nuts?
Oof.
And he lived?
He did. He survived.
He lived
he probably a couple seconds where he wondered why he chose to fight through that. Yeah, I think I'd be done.
Yeah, a little touch and go there for a moment, I bet, for him.
Do you have to pay extra for that?
I'd imagine.
Yes.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I would think they'd give you a refund on the cover.
At least a free hot dog or something.
Or maybe a coupon for a future dance. Can you imagine, too, if the situation was he was a guy in a relationship where his significant other wouldn't let him go to a strip club?
Oh, that would be awful.
And so he's going to be in double trouble. He's going to really wish he was killed by that.
She told him, don't go to the boom boom room. He went anyway, and he comes back home with teeth marks on his nuts.
Better not go to the strip club. You might get your nut bit.
That'll never happen at Rick's Cabaret 1 week from today.
I sure hope not.
They behave themselves over there.
I sure friggin' hope nobody suffers a stripper bite.
I mean, they misbehaved in the ways you want them to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But outside of that, they take care of business over there. Your penis will be fine.
A week from by God today, Toys for Tatas. So get yourself organized. Get that unwrapped toy or 2 or 3 ready to be donated next Friday morning at Rick's Cabaret Gentlemen's Club in downtown Minneapolis, and that'll get you in for free. Get you something to eat, and then have a blast with the beer drinking and the topless girls. Yeah, 1 week away. It's going to be a riot. Going to be a good time. And, yeah, I hope nobody gets bit. I was at the scene of a stripper on customer biting attack one night. Also in Wisconsin. Almost killed the guy. It was really strange and frightening. Not at first, but the next day. I'll explain. We had bellied up to the stage at a strip joint in Wisco, and one of the dancers, her routine, anybody who was sitting close enough to the stage, Josh, she'd pick up their shirt for them and lick them on the nipples.
Oh, weird.
Guys, girls, didn't matter.
That's nice.
That's what I thought at first, Ashley. That's what we all thought.
Until the incident.
So she's picking up this. She'd find this dude, a big beer-bellied Wisconsin guy. She'd pick up his shirt and on his nipple, and then she'd move to that guy's wife. She'd pick the wife's shirt up and then I was sitting with one of my bros. Personally, I was sitting kind of behind my buddy. He was closer to the stage than I was, so she didn't pick on me because I wasn't within reach. But one of my buddies was within reach, and she picked up his shirt, and he thought, here comes the nipple licking. I'm into this. Go ahead, he says. And instead she went, ka, and she bit down on his nipple with everything that she had.
Why?
Yes, that's what we said. Why?
It was like a game of duck, duck, goose.
Yeah.
She bit my bro.
And he wasn't heckling her?
No.
He was well behaved.
Yeah, everyone was just sitting there waiting for their nipple licking. And she just bit hard. And he was pissed.
I would be too, rightfully so, yeah.
He was legitimately pissed.
That would be painful.
He was so mad, he only had like 7 or 8 more beers and spent $200-300 more, and then we left.
Yeah.
And the next morning, he couldn't get out of bed. He was white as a ghost, and
she gave him rabies.
Almost, it's close. He was white, pasty white, and cold sweat, and he felt like garbage. I mean, you've met him before, Josh. I'm not going to throw his name out right now because maybe he doesn't want me to.
Can I get a hint? Or is that too much as well?
I'll just
for
write
folks
it.
That might know.
I'll write the name down for you.
Okay.
It turned out she gave him the bird flu.
Shut up.
Well, I don't know. That's what he said.
Really? Wait, really?
He said he got bird flu. You're going to ask him next time.
No way. That would suck.
That's what he said. Bird flu.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve that.
No, he's a nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you've got some friends that maybe have it coming.
Yes, I do.
Not this guy.
Not that guy.
Oh, no. Bird flu, huh?
That's what he says. He's not a doctor or anything, but he said he got bird flu.
There was an episode of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butthead. You know, the new version of Beavis and Butthead.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were Beavis and Butthead. They were in sex ed class, and they're learning about puberty. And in the background, you see they're skipping it. They learn a little bit about it, but then they skip class, and they're out and they're playing with a raccoon, and Beavis gets bitten by one, and all the symptoms of rabies, like he's basically turning into a zombie, things are falling off. He assumes it's puberty.
Oh, no.
The whole time it's like he's going through puberty, but he's dying of rabies. Oh, that was a good episode.
By the way, quite a few of our listeners have guessed which one of my friends it was that got nipple bitten by a stripper, and according to him, ended up with bird flu. I might as well, everyone's guessing it correctly, I might as well just say it. Yeah, it was Donnie.
Yeah, it was. I bet they heard the pen. Sometimes people can just hear, like if you dial in a phone number, somebody goes, I know what that is. I recognize those numbers.
Yes.
The scribbling gave it away.
It was Donnie. Yep, my scribbling gave it away.
If it would have been a girl, it would have been your friend Missy.
Yes.
It's usually Donnie or Missy.
Missy would have had her nipple bitten.
I've never had any injury. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it coming.
That was great.
Off. Yes, what were you saying?
That's on me. Usually you have a look on your face.
No.
I didn't. It's Friday.
It's not on anybody.
No, that's my fault.
What were you saying?
I've never had any experience like that at a strip club, but I think we both shared this, where I've seen a groom get up on stage, or I should say a bachelor get up on stage. He's about to become a groom. And I thought, wow, what a fun night. They get a little chair out for. If you haven't seen it, they get a chair out. All the girls, it's not just one. All of them surround him.
Every damn last one of them.
Congratulate him on his upcoming nuptials.
That's so nice.
They'll pull the girls off of a star athlete. You know what I mean? In the crowd. The girl could be making thousands from and they'll pull her off of that guy and say, get on stage, we've got a bachelor.
For him. And you're thinking, what? Oh, man, I'm jealous. I'd love to be up there. Look at that. He's got boobs all around him. This couldn't get any better. And then they beat the hell out of him.
They beat him into oblivion.
To the point where it's a crime. I mean, sure, they're using their boobs and stuff to beat him, but my God, there was one guy, they had to carry him out on a stretcher.
I've seen the movie where they take the belt off the guy, too, and they're whipping him with the belt.
And I think they're taking out some frustrations.
Yeah.
I've seen some beatings.
It is not sexy. It's mean.
One of the terrible beatings we saw, bachelor party beatings that you and I both witnessed, was a dude that used to work here in the building with the little hairdo. He was a real cute guy remember with the hair?
Yep.
He got a beating. Oh, the crowd couldn't help it. It was like something out of Gladiator, where the movie Gladiator, where the crowd goes, oh God, no.
Really?
Where the crowd reacts to.
Like where all of a sudden somebody gets bashed in the face with a mace.
Yes.
And then they do it like 30 times.
And the crowd goes, oh,
it's just overkill. It's disgusting.
Oh, my God, no.
It's like that Simpsons meme where they're just like, stop, he's already dead.
Somebody's got to stop this.
Yeah, we've seen that happen. Toys for Tatas next Friday. We'll try to keep all the beatings and bitings to a minimum.
I'm trying to think of the wildest thing I've ever seen at a Toys for Tatas, and I can't come up with one. I mean, Wapple dressed sexually on stage. She was sexily, I should say. Ashley, of course, had the skirt incident where her skirt blew up.
I almost forgot about that.
Wildest thing we've ever seen at
Specifically Toys for Tatas.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I thought
There's
you were
stories, certainly.
plenty of great stories. I mean, back in my day when I could still go and run with the big dogs, we'd check in there at 5 a.m. or whatever to do our live broadcast. That's how we used to do it. We don't do it that way anymore. Now we're going to broadcast right here from our studio, and then as soon as we get done at 9, we're going to run on over to Rick's.
Dana and Ashley will be there checking in.
We'll have...
Yeah, so if you want to say hi.
Just a little check-in now and again. We used to broadcast live from the actual joint for many, many years. Personally, I can tell you, we used to check in at 5 a.m. and I wouldn't get out of there until 11 p.m., midnight.
That's awesome. It's a hell of a run.
Absolutely just horrible. I mean, I had a great time, but that's unbelievable.
You don't need to be doing that.
You literally do not see the sun throughout the day.
Nope.
And then get there when it's dark in the morning, then you leave when it's dark at night.
Yeah.
5 a.m. until 11 o'clock midnight. And then, there were a few years where once 11 or midnight came around and I realized that I have been sitting and drinking beer in this glorious place. Don't get me wrong, it's not a complaint. I would sit and think, okay, I've been here for, I can't do the arithmetic, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. is 12 hours. What would it be if I go to 11 p.m.?
We'll add another 6 hours to that.
I've been sitting here for
20 hours.
20 hours, 18 hours, right?
Something like that,
Yep.
yeah.
There were a few years where then I would say, okay, let's go to another bar. That's insanity.
That is insane.
We would move on to another bar.
Oh, I'd be dead.
No, you wouldn't.
That's
handle that.
way too long.
Well, you would not be dead, but you wouldn't be at work on Monday. I can guarantee you that.
I would be sleeping at some point throughout that day.
Oh, geez, Jesus wanted to know if the Bachelor on stage reminded us of Jon Snow's mosh pit from the Battle of the Bastards. Yeah, that's a good description.
I thought you were just going to say, what's the wildest thing you've ever seen at a strip joint? And I know my answer. And I believe I've told this story before on the air. I just don't know if I can still get away with it. The rules fluctuate in radio. I don't know if I can still get away with it. Maybe I'll consult with Josh off air, and maybe I can tell the story later. I'll just throw this at you in case maybe you remember it. Josh, remember the story of the fish hook?
Yes.
I don't know if I can tell that one anymore, but oh my God, I don't think I'd ever laughed so hard in my life.
Yeah, I was specifically thinking Toys for Tatas, but as far as, the most fun I've ever had at a strip club was when Gilbert Gottfried joined us a couple years in a row for broadcasting out of there. Rick's Cabaret for this event.
Yeah, that was special.
And people, still text in about it. As a matter of fact, Eastbound at Sundown Jesus texted in about it. That was so much fun. He was great.
He was a special guy.
He really was.
And we miss him.
We do. Probably the funniest stand-up comic I've ever seen live. He was awesome, and that was such a good show that he performed at later. But just he put in such a good shift with us. For lack of a better way to put it.
We made fools of ourselves at his comedy show.
Oh yeah, we did. I think our
did.
significant others were going to leave us.
We made fools of ourselves. We were laughing so hard when the two of us brought significant others to go see Gilbert Gottfried live in concert.
That was awesome. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that he and Dice. They were pals. They had a similar routine with their live act, to where they enjoyed. They enjoyed it when a joke went nowhere. They almost intentionally would tell jokes that they knew were going to go nowhere. Mm-hmm. They loved the silence.
Yeah, they liked the uncomfortable tension.
They loved that. And both of them would sometimes start a concert by walking out on stage and the crowd's going crazy, right? And then the crowd naturally dies down to nothing. And they will both Dice and Gilbert would intentionally do nothing for a long time.
That stresses me out.
So the crowd is just quiet, and they're just waiting. Is this guy going to tell a joke or what? Now, Dice and Gilbert fans knew exactly what they were doing, but new people would, like Ashley just said, we're kind of uncomfortably looking around as if to say, is there something wrong with this guy? Why isn't he? And so Gilbert did that when Josh and I went to go see him. The crowd goes wild. He walks out, and then he just doesn't do anything. And the majority of the crowd is shocked, concerned. Josh and I are going, ah! Ah! And that's when our significant others turned to us and said, what are you laughing at? He hasn't told the joke. I'm like, you don't get it. He's doing this on purpose.
This is the joke.
Yes, this is the
his
joke.
First joke.
And then he gets up on the mic and he says, I was walking down the street. You know, he does that whole
as far as like the wildest thing, and it's really not that wild. I thought of another one. There was a douchebag that used to come to town to visit a guy we worked with that decided to grab a fire extinguisher off the wall and then spray it throughout the strip club. That was embarrassing.
What an idiot.
You got to do something to where then everyone talks about you the next day.
He's so crazy.
Trust me. Exactly. I'm so crazy. I'm the party guy. Trust me, that guy cried himself to sleep that night.
I'll bet. And,
I guarantee it.
He's probably one of the more talented guys I've ever met.
He's a douche.
But, yeah, he is kind of a douche. All right, he is a douche. I mean, who does something like that? Like you said, Ash.
Yeah, that's just not
Most of the guys who do stupid little things like that at the party or at the strip joint or at the bar, to be the crazy guy, that night, they cry themselves to sleep.
I thought he was going to be killed. I honestly thought the bouncers were going to kill him, and he had it coming. But I think the wildest thing I ever saw, and again, this isn't like that wild, but when we were... I don't remember if we were judging. There was some sort of amateur contest.
Yes.
And I don't remember our role. We were there in some work capacity.
I believe it was a sexy Halloween costume contest.
That's what it was, yes.
On stage where local ladies, not the strippers, local ladies showed up to compete. And God, some of them were just stunning.
You're not kidding.
It was a hell of a show.
And there was one that seemed a little out of place for this particular contest, right? It's not what you would have expected. And when she went to get up on stage, and she face planted so hard in front of all those people.
That's not fair.
I mean, it appeared she was inebriated more than anyone has ever been drunken ever.
She was
in the history of the world.
She was beyond drunk, yes.
But that was a hard fall. I think she forgot she had hands that could have braced that fall.
No. Yep.
So she's in her sexy outfit, takes a step. One step, and then just face plants in front of everybody.
And you heard it 3 doors down.
Oh, it's just a big snap.
Boom! I mean, she hit that friggin' stage. And, of course, half the crowd went, Josh and I were actually quite concerned about it.
Oh, I felt so bad for her.
That's tough.
Half the crowd just laughed her out of the room, and we felt kind of bad about that.
The first thing I do anytime I fall, of course, is to get up immediately and look around and pray nobody saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't matter how injured I am.
Yeah, and you act like you're okay. Nah, it didn't hurt, I'm fine.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
More anxiety than Hair Jesus wants to know if she was carrying soup. No, that's Ashley.
Is that why she fell?
That is face planted with bags of soup.
Yeah, this gal that fell up on stage. I know a couple of heavy drinkers where when they get drunk and then they fall down, they just don't have the ability to brace themselves, and they take the brunt of it on the bridge of their nose. It's just some folks have that physical capability to brace themselves for a fall when they're drunk. Some don't. She did not have that capability.
There was we were at a wrestling event at Target Center. This is probably 2000, 2001. And for whatever reason, one of our promotion staff was going in and out of the building to grab stuff from the vehicle and whatever. And one of them, I think she forgot there was a door there. She walked right into it, and her face exploded on the door.
Oh, no.
It was disgusting.
Oh, no.
I felt so bad. And it was packed. There's so many people there. I don't know. She was just in her head or something. She walked up and just face first in the door, and her nose just went kaplooey all over the place. Yeah, it was rough.
Did the fans at least chant ECW or she's hardcore? She's hardcore.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah, that would have made her feel a little bit better about herself, I bet.
100%.
Yeah, I hear you. There have been some wild times at the Boom Boom Room. The dude got fish hooked.
Big Bearded Jesus saw that lady face plant. He said it was her shoes, super high heels.
Oh.
I think it was that and that she was a 0.4 combination.
Yeah, she had gotten into the drinks a little bit. Well, what else is going on around here? So we're a week away from Toys for Tatas. We know everybody's going to show up. We know everyone's going to bring wonderful toys for the kids. And keep in mind, older kids sometimes get left out a little bit in the cold when anyone has a toy drive. Keep in mind the older kids.
Is our adult actress friend Jordan Maxx still coming in studio today?
Yes, sir.
That's what I've heard.
All right, good.
Jordan Maxx will be here a little bit later, and we'll ask her for sure what her plans are. I think her plans might be to get topless at the bar and dump lap dances on Neanderthals. But we'll ask her for sure today.
She was definitely a popular attraction last year.
Yeah, she was.
She was very busy.
Yeah, she was busy. It was kind of funny, kind of odd. Maybe you had to be there, but, she was so busy that I didn't, last year at Toys for Tatas, Jordan Maxx, she was so busy I didn't really get a chance to say hello to her at all.
It was just a hi in passing a couple times.
But on my way out the joint, she's some dude's motorboating her ass cheeks, right? It's kind of funny saying goodbye to someone as she was performing her act. So she's like murdering this guy's face with her ass cheeks. And I said, "Hey, Jordan, we'll see you later." And in the middle of her bobbling her bottom, she goes, "Okay, see you later." You know what I mean?
Drive safe.
You don't normally communicate with people when they're in that.
Yeah.
She's waving goodbye to me, and the guy's like, "Get out of here, bro. I'm trying to get my face full of..."
Yeah, how often do you say goodbye to a topless woman in front of a whole bunch of dudes? I mean, just
right.
that in particular.
Goodbye. I'll check in on you from time to time. Goodbye.
Ashley, you going to get a lap dance?
Oh, yeah, that's the plan.
She'll get a lap dance.
Yep.
The only question is who's going to get one first, me or Ashley?
I'm going to guess Ashley.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's usually like...
It's a safe bet.
No, it's not. Not this year. I just got married.
Oh, that's true. That changes things.
That changes everything.
She doesn't let you go to the strip club. You're in
I
trouble.
will be the first one to get a lap dance.
Did anyone get a dance from Jordan last year?
No.
I'd feel weird getting a dance from.
I couldn't. Well, Ashley, why wouldn't you? I mean, we were friends with Coco, who worked at Rick's Forever, and she was your first lap dance, was she not?
Yeah, but
you never forget your first.
That was different because the lap dance is kind of what started our friendship. For me and Jordan Maxx, we're already.
I wonder how many people have been able to say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What's
I know,
that?
right?
That's
What
a
did
cool
she just
claim.
say? What's the claim?
Oh, that with me and Coco, the lap dance started our friendship.
Started your friendship.
Yeah.
It is weird getting a lap dance from a friend.
I have never done it.
Because I've made friends over the years. Coco is a good example, actually. Hunter, who are some of the other girls that I became, we became friendly because how often I'd see them at the joint or they'd come into the radio station.
They both danced for you?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, but it's just weird because, yes, we're just friends, but also, I'm not an idiot.
Well,
see
they're
what I'm saying?
professionals. That's what they do.
I know we're friends, but I'd also like you to give me... Anyway, it's a weird thing because then they'll be lap dancing for you and they'll say things like, "How are your folks?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they're doing
Exactly.
pretty good. Tell your brother I said hi. Okay. And their boobs are here and their ass is there. It's weird. It's a funny spot getting a lap dance from a friend, but...
Well, it's just I'm finding this kind of strange that you're open to getting lap dances from friends. I mean, what about a best friend? It kind of seems like there's been some avoidance as far as that goes.
What about a best friend, he asks me. Well, I don't know. You're not that great of a dancer.
Oh, that is true.
That's true.
I'm kind of clumsy.
Why don't you go and practice on the boss? And then come back and see me.
He's cool enough where I said, "Listen, I really want to give Nick a lap dance. Can I practice on your lap?" I think he'd be cool with it.
Practice a little bit, and then I'll consider it.
Some member of the brother or sister comes up. "Have you seen Nick and Josh?" Yeah, they're back in VIP. With a bunch of babes? Yeah, sure, something like that.
Yeah, Josh recently found out Nick's open to friends giving him lap dances. And it's his obsession at this point.
So there you go. What else is going on around here? Viking long snapper Andrew DePaola. He's got a weekend... Just twice today I'm going to do this. He's got a weekend off.
I caught on that time.
But he's he's got nothing better going on, so we're going to talk to him today anyway at 7:30.
Yeah, nice guy. I hit up the Vikings and said, hey, I know it's his bye week. If he doesn't want to talk to us, that, we totally understand. And they got back and said, no, he's excited. He wants to come on and chat with you guys.
It's kind of sad.
You know what's possible is how many times has he said, yeah, I had no idea this or this or that was going to happen on the field until like the last second. Maybe he doesn't know it's their bye week. Maybe they'll tell him Sunday morning.
He's at practice all week. Where is everybody?
It's that possible, I think.
He's going to make an appearance on the program anyway, even though they ain't playing any football until, a good week. So we'll talk to DePaola.
Love that guy.
All right, you want to kick it in the ass here and start cruising towards our weekend?
Let's get to it.
Let's take a little break, and we'll be back in a minute on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Grace here, customer service rep at Standard Heating. I'm proud to work for a company that understands and takes care of our fellow Minnesotans. Our weather here can be a little unpredictable and even extreme. That's why we've been here for 93 years and counting, to keep our community safe and comfortable.
On behalf of myself and Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, we would like to wish you a very happy holidays. And don't forget, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is open 24/7 for emergency services to make sure you stay warm this holiday season. Go to standardheating.com today.
For the real story behind some of wrestling's biggest moments, it's Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson, too.
1995, when WCW announces they're going to be live and head-to-head with Monday Night Raw, feels like this would have been something Vince would have kind of laughed off.
No, we did not like them moving to Monday nights. There were a lot of hotels. They all carried CNN, TBS, and TNT. Vince was convinced that Ted Turner had deviously done this deal to get in the hotels and keep us out.
Something to Wrestle, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Starting off hot. Right from the get-go. Hope you don't mind starting off hot because we're leading off the stupid news today with a story of a full-on Code Brown.
Oh.
The Canadian Code Brown, to be exact. A Canadian.
That's worse. Sounds like a weird sex act.
The Canadian Code Brown? Yeah. She gave you the Canadian Code Brown, huh?
She sure did. We took the step.
The milestone.
You know what? That awful, disgusting, inedible poutine probably had something to do with this Canadian Code Brown.
I've never had. I hear good things. Really,
I love it.
You don't like
It's
it?
disgusting is what it is.
It is, huh?
There's so many different ways they make it, though.
Yeah,
I thought it was just one way.
And they're all wrong, aren't they, Wapple? They're all wrong.
No, it's delicious.
Some of you folks in our listening audience, who take all the fun out of life by eating healthy and rarely touching alcohol, you might not even know what a Code Brown is, so I'll explain it to you.
It's very true.
Usually, not all the time, but usually a Code Brown refers to when you're driving any kind of vehicle and you suddenly and urgently need to press out a deuce.
It's only happened to me once, thank God. An official Code Brown.
Yeah.
Meaning behind the wheel.
So
Thank God for porta potties at parks. Otherwise, I would have been in some big, big trouble.
I don't think I would have thought of that.
A porta potty?
Well, I don't think he thought of it. You probably just got lucky, didn't you, Josh?
No, I thought of it. I knew there because I left. It was on my way home from work, so I knew there was a park there, and so I thought I know exactly where I'm going to stop. I got to get there as fast as I can.
You have led a charmed and beautiful life. Do you know how many effing days, nights, didn't matter years ago? You know how many effing days or nights I prayed that just a random porta potty would appear on the side of the road?
I know you had a lot of trouble.
All right, so the Code Brown, you're usually manning a motor vehicle and you urgently need to go, so you have no choice but to put yourself and others in danger by racing down the road at unsafe speeds in order to reach a bathroom before you crap your pants like a little baby. This Code Brown out of Canada says that a driver in Ontario, Summers, was going about 60 miles per hour over the speed limit a night or two ago. I don't know what the hell they do up there in Ontario, but let's say the speed limit was 60. F me running, he was going 120. And cops caught him on the old radar gun thingy. A 26-year-old was behind the wheel when they pulled him over, and his excuse for speeding was that he, quote, needed to use the bathroom. And I suppose this kid behind the wheel could have been making up his need to hit the head in an attempt to gain some sympathy. It could possibly have been a number 1 ski that he was hanging on to, but to me, that sounds like a good old-fashioned code brown. Cops didn't care. Kid had his license suspended for 30 Canadian days and his vehicle impounded for 2 weeks Canadian.
Well, they have the same, the day is the same, and the week is the same up there.
Yeah, like in Manitoba, it's the same, and in Ontario, the same, in British Columbia.
No, I mean, like, it would be the same as it is here in the States.
Time is the same in Canada as it is in the States?
Yes, it is.
I think you need to look that up, Judge. You're making a fool out of yourself.
They use like the metric system or something, so the time's different.
You know what? I forget who I'm talking to. Mr. Canadian accent. Can I hear your Canadian accent? I love it so much.
Hey there, mate.
It's dead on.
Spot on.
Come on. Hey, mate. Yeah, he had his vehicle impounded for 2 weeks Canadian. We've often campaigned here on this radio show for some kind of lenience on the part of law enforcement for a legitimate code brown.
There should be a light on every vehicle purchased. At least, with all the new safety features they come out with, they should have a brown light.
We have campaigned for that.
Just a brown siren flashing.
And maybe there's a way it could tap into your stomach noises or something just to confirm that it should come on.
Brilliant, the brown light. And you slap it up on top of your vehicle like the cops in the 70s television shows used to do.
And it's not just the cops. Other drivers, they respect you, and then they let you in, and they understand, hey, if I was in that spot, I would love some courtesy on the road.
Like a NASCAR race when the leader begins to lap drivers.
Exactly.
They move to the high side of the track and say, go ahead. Right.
It's polite.
You were the first guy I ever heard bring up the idea of that brown light up on top of the vehicle to let everyone else know, look, I got somewheres to get to.
So far, it hasn't really taken off.
No, but the more noise we make, Josh, these things take a while. How long were people crying about weed?
Well, years here, but what would you think it would be in Canada, just out of curiosity?
Seriously, Canadian time is different than American time. It's totally different up there. A year American is 6.5 months Canadian. But yeah, I mean, take it from a guy who used to have terrible problems with this kind of thing. Back in my younger days, I would have a code brown emergency multiple times a week. It was such a terrible feeling that I've often said I would rather have been dealing with a major physical injury like a broken arm than be holding in a code brown with no bathroom in sight. I do not miss those days. It was miserable.
I've had a couple of code beiges, I guess I'll call them.
Beige.
Well, it wasn't quite to level brown, but I knew I better... It's going to get to code brown if I don't pull over right now.
I had to do some things that I'm not proud of.
When you said code beige, I was picturing like a scale of like, it starts out kind of white and starts getting more and more brown as it goes down.
Yeah, like the terrorism warning scale.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Just in more neutral colors.
Uh-huh.
And I have friends now. See, my situation has greatly improved. I've improved my lifestyle quite a bit compared to what it was 25 some odd years ago. I have friends now who, as they're getting older, it's now they're in that situation quite often. And I have great sympathy for them because of what I went through when I was younger. And I think a lot of what my friends are dealing with, running off to the bathroom all the effing time, having the code brown behind the wheel, it's their friggin' lifestyle. It's a big factor. But when I was young, I wasn't the only one in my friend group who had problems. And it always brings me back to this story. I had one of my best pals lived only a block away. And one day, I was driving over to his place, and as I'm driving down his street, there's his old mother. She liked to take walks down
That's sweet.
Right. And, of course, I knew her very well. So as I was heading towards my buddy's house, there's his mother on the side of the road, and I pulled over, and I'm chit-chatting with his mother. And I'm saying, do you know when Donnie will be home? Eventually, we got to that. I wasn't so rude that I didn't have, how are you? But eventually, I said, I was just heading over to your place to find Donnie. Do you know when he's coming home? And right when I said that, I look in my rearview mirror, and here comes Donnie behind me. He's on his way home. And his mother says, well, there he is right there. And I notice he's really cooking down the street. I mean, he's cooking. And, of course, he recognizes his own mother, and, of course, he recognizes me in my car. And he's not slowing down, though, as he's approaching. And he whips by both of us going about 65, and all me and his mother heard was Donnie go, bathroom! As he went by.
Brandywine Jesus said that her sister was having an official code brown, pulled over for speeding, told the cop she had to go, and the cop let her go.
That's nice.
Wow. I would think that if they could tell, they're sweating, they can see the trouble, they might just say, all right, slow her down.
Well,
maybe not if you're going 60 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah, that's a little excessive.
Do you think that story about the cop letting that lady go was more about a fear of girl turds?
That could be. Maybe she's a 10 out of 10 on the attractive scale. And, Nick, I owe you an apology. I didn't consider this. Name one of the best and most famous bands out of Canada.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm going to get emotional if we talk too much about this band because I love them so much. You must be referring to Rush.
Yeah. And it's bigger when it's warm out, Jesus reminded me that even Rush has talked about this time difference in their song Time Stands Still.
Oh, God.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Music has been taken out of this portion of the Half-Assed Morning Show podcast for licensing reasons.
It's such a beautiful song. Drink and a friend.
I was just getting into rock music when this came out, 1987? I think it was my 7th grade, something like that.
Somewhere.
Yeah, 6th, 7th grade, I was getting into it. Wait, would that be 1987 in Canada as well, or is that just here?
Now you know what I'm talking about.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen them live.
Me too.
How do you play those complicated bass lines and sing something completely different?
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
Because he's brilliant. Who was that mentioned the song?
It's only bigger when it's warm out.
Thanks,
Jesus.
dude. I needed that this morning. I really did.
I was blown away when I first learned that was Geddy Lee in Roll the Bones. Get down with the fact. When he does that part, I never knew that.
Well, didn't they just kind of put an effect on his voice? Roll the bone. Yeah, roll the bones.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to come back from that kind of stuff. It really is for me to hear an old Rush song like that. Such a beautiful song. The other day I heard Limelight for the 5 millionth time, and it still just stopped me dead in my tracks. Limelight.
They got a lot of good tunes.
I think that might be the most perfect rock song ever made. But anyway, we have to move on at one point or another. It's tough. These days, everybody got to have what they call smart appliances in their house, huh? What about you folks? Are your appliances smart like Josh, or are they old and simple like me?
Dumb.
Yeah, mine are very dumb.
I don't have any smart appliances. Oh, I take that back. We got a new dishwasher that's a smart appliance.
Wow.
Yeah.
What makes it a smart dishwasher?
I can. It gives me alerts on my phone when it's all done, just in case I have an emergency where I need to wash more dishes.
Yeah, I love that.
I can start and stop it.
That is really cool. I would love to be able to start my oven if I'm not home, like preheat it.
Yeah.
That would be clutch.
I want that refrigerator and freezer where it can show you what's in the fridge when it's closed.
Or you check the camera.
Or you can look on your phone and see what's in there too.
I want that.
So perfect for grocery
I want
shopping.
that same camera, but in my shower.
Yeah. I want that same camera in your shower.
I'll put on a show for you.
Even toilets are being turned into smart devices now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can spend thousands on one if you really want to.
A toilet doesn't need to be all techie and smart. It just needs to swallow urine and feces.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Because I sure as hell can't bring myself to do it.
There's, butt warmers, downward fans.
Ooh, a butt warmer would be nice.
All kinds of stuff. Obviously, the bidet. People love the bidets.
I've never been a fan of those. It's surprising. I don't like that.
Isn't there a toilet that can tell if you're dehydrated?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that would be useful. You guys usually just judge
just gauge
yourself?
Gauge the color of your pee.
I need to drink more water.
Red? Yeah.
No.
There's a story going around online about a man in China who had his smart toilet burst into flames on him while he was sitting on it.
This is on 93x.com.
You can see pictures of the aftermath, I believe.
Yeah, on the fire.
Oh, he
It's
has
a big flame.
A video of it burning.
Mm-hmm.
And it pert near burned the guy smooth up. This happened a few weeks ago. Dude first sensed that something was wrong when he smelled smoke. He probably was concerned about his digestive system at first.
What the hell did I eat?
He smelled smoke. Then he saw white smoke pouring out the bowl. And that's when he picked his little behind up off the can. You know, he's thinking, well, that ain't right.
It was taco night last night.
I'd still be a little concerned. Like it would take a while to register. Like this isn't me doing this. Is it my body?
So he picks his little ass up off the seat and boom! I mean, before he even got his pants all the way up, the toilet bowl exploded and started burning. Now, he wasn't hurt, and he thinks it may have been sparked by a short circuit. It's unclear what kind of smart toilet he had, but there are ones that have, oh, God help us, automatic flushing. You guys mentioned some of it. Heat, what did you just say?
Heated seat.
It's got this, it's got that. But dude almost had his anus and private parts burned off for him because of this smart toilet went sideways.
Do you guys have one of those toilets that has two buttons, depending on what you just did in there?
Oh, my parents do.
I don't like those ones.
Yeah, I don't like them either.
I have one that's like a half flush or a full flush.
So,
Yeah,
but you
that's
just
what we're talking
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of this.
Have you guys been watching South Park at all?
No.
Yeah.
Did you see the Randy Marsh, the Japanese toilet he gets his hands on?
Yes.
That's a bougie toilet. You're getting champagne when he's looking for toilets.
So that was a close call for that dude in China. Almost got his beehole burned off for him. Folks driving around to town somewheres in New Zealand got a little freaked out when they saw hair hanging out the trunk of a car. And these days, you never know what kind of sick maniacs might be out there doing God knows what. The local cops received multiple calls from concerned citizens who were worried about a potential, kidnapping. Somebody's trapped in the trunk of this car. The cops called the car's owner, a 26-year-old gal by the name of Sophie, and they more or less said, what gives with the hairdo hanging out the trunk of your car. Thankfully, the hair that was cruising out was a mannequin head that this gal kept in the trunk. The hairs belong to a mannequin head named Cher.
You guys ever seen one of those Halloween pranks where somebody has like a bloody arm or something sticking out of the back?
Oh, the trunk.
Yeah,
the trunk,
they look
yeah.
very realistic.
This gal had a mannequin head in the trunk of her car because she uses it for hairdressing training.
We had one of those at the house. Actually, a couple of them when my kid, she went through that.
They're
Same thing.
creepy. I've got one of those.
Why do you have one?
When I lived in Wisconsin, it was like a bit with some of the like locals there that every woman had had one of those heads, and I guess you would like decorate it and stuff. It was kind of weird. But
What do we want? Hey! When do we want it?
Now. Head. The greatest gimmicks ever.
The local cops made a public statement on this, and they more or less said, better safe than sorry when it comes to things like this. They're okay with the fact that they got a bunch of phone calls worried about the situation, hair flying out the back of a trunk. Again, with the Ontario here in today's Stupid News. Ontario police had a similar case earlier this year when a dive team got called in on a dive team. It takes a little bit to get those folks organized, right?
Yeah.
probably cost some money.
You got to sober up, everything.
They had to call in the dive team on a report of a body floating in a canal. Turned out that was just a discarded mannequin. Josh, are we going to have to set aside new landfills for all the mannequins and rubber hump dolls that people can't help but toss into the ditches.
Yeah, maybe they're going to have to, you know how certain waste has to be disposed of in a certain way? Maybe that's what they need to do. Because people are confused. They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
What is wrong with just putting it in the friggin' trash can, you morons?
It's going to be like another Great Pacific garbage patch. Instead of like a bunch of trash, it's just all sex dolls.
Waffles on top of it, weeding through it, trying to find a nice one.
Yeah, I used to have a mannequin head at the house.
For what purpose?
Wait, just the head?
It's none of your business what purpose I...
Oh, I guess it's not. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Toys for Tatas. We were talking about this a little earlier. Toys for Tatas is next Friday morning. Can you believe that, Cubby?
Came out quick, didn't it?
Yep. Next Friday morning. Give them all the details, Ashley. Go ahead.
Me and Dana will be broadcasting live from there, checking
the
in.
Details.
The deets.
That's the deets, right?
Doors open at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Bring an unwrapped toy.
Oh, the toy part. Yes, bring a toy.
Yeah, did you forget kind of what it's all about?
Breakfast buffet.
All I'm thinking is boobs. I'm sorry.
I know.
Cash bar opens at 8.
Next Friday.
Children.
Come on over
It's
next
for the
Friday.
kids.
Rick's Cabaret Gentlemen's Club, downtown Minneapolis, starting at 6 a.m. God help us. I don't think we'll have any of these kinds of problems at Rick's. The girls there are so friendly. There was a stripper fight at a Boom Boom Room in Thailand. The girls turned on each other and they cut loose, and it was a big old stripper on stripper battle royal. This is one fun story right here. I can't wait to tell you all about this. The strippers went bananas and beat the living hell out of each other at a Boom Boom Room in Thailand. And one poor bastard customer who tried to break it up, he got put to sleep.
Yeah, it looked bad.
This unlucky prick, a British tourist, the story says, he got knocked unconscious and was covered in blood by the time the cops showed up to settle things down.
Oh, my God.
Oh, geez.
And from what I can understand here, and this is hot stuff, the dancers at this club were fighting over this one effing guy. I've heard this kind of thing a few times from my days at hanging out at the Jiggle Shack night after night. Dancers fighting over a customer or two. And I can tell you one of those stories once we wrap this up. But it was a 28-year-old dude with the very interesting name of Jack Fitzmaurice.
I bet Maurice is pleased.
I'd be quite honored if the stripper battle royale started over me.
Well, yeah. Jack Fitzmaurice was drinking with one of the dancers at this joint. Apparently, other dancers got jealous. Now, I don't know if this guy is a somebody, a pop singer or something, or if he made it obvious that he had a lot of money to spend or what. But the dancers began to argue over time spent with Jack Fitzmaurice. The next thing this Jack dude knew, 20 effing furious strippers started tearing each other apart. This just sounds awesome. Witnesses called it a, quote, Wild West type of barroom brawl. There were punches and kicks being dumped into the mix. Sweet chin music with stilettos.
That's so fun.
There was hair being pulled, legs flying everywhere, somebody said.
An old guy playing an old-timey piano.
Then the bar staff joined in and it got even worse.
What is happening?
And one of the gals put poor Jack to sleep. The cops found him all half-conscious and covered in stripper blood. And this is cute right here. When Jack finally came to, and the cops asked him if he was okay, he said, quote, I'll be all right. I just want to get home to bed. And some of the dancers didn't look too good either once it was all over. Split lips and scratches and this and that. The local cops are going to ask some questions and see what turns up on this one. They say most of the people involved were drunk. Some witnesses said that Jack Fitzmaurice at one point tried to run away from the fight, but the staff chased him down and kept whooping his ass. He probably doesn't remember anything.
Nah, poor Jack.
I've heard it can get wild in Thailand. That's another one of those places, it seems like, when you ask somebody, oh, where are you going on vacation? Thailand.
It's
Yeah,
always
that's pretty common.
it's always Thailand or
Nashville.
Hayward.
Or Hayward. Byron.
The story says here that the neighborhood where this took place was once a sleepy coastal village, but over the years they say it's become a, quote, depraved sex tourism destination. We got to go there.
Definitely.
One night I was at Rick's Cabaret, back when I used to hang out there all the time, and gorgeous gal working that night, and she sat down at the bar next to me, and I at first told myself, okay, don't say anything, but I had to say something. It was obvious that she had a little bit of extra makeup on her face because of bruises and such. And again, I told myself it's not my business, but she was very friendly, and we got to talking, and I said, I can't help but notice, I mean, you get in a car wreck or something? What happened? And she said, yeah, I had to put on a little extra makeup to cover up these cuts and bruises. And I said, I'm sorry, if you don't mind, would you like to tell me the story? And she said, yeah, I'm fine telling the story. She was working at some other joint in town, and she was making too much money one night, and a few of the other dancers got jealous, and when she went into the back, they just beat the living hell out of her.
Oh, no.
And took her damn money. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
That's crazy. We should ask Jordan Maxx about that today.
She said they were kicking her, punching her. I said, Jesus criminy. And she said, that's why I came here to work at Rick's, because the girls are friendly.
Yeah, that's insane.
Just trying to make some money.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And I said, well, you ever been to Maple Lake? And she said, no, what goes on in Maple Lake? And I said, you don't want to know. I got time for another one, I think, Josh, right?
Yeah.
I never get involved in that silly marathon running. I don't understand that gimmick at all. Marathon running. Absolutely stupid.
Gross.
The human body wasn't meant to run 15 miles at a time. That's why God put a bend in our knees and cheeks on our asses. Because, Cubby, we were meant to be sitting.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever get involved in something like that.
I have a friend who runs marathons, and I always ask him, why do you do it? He goes, dude, when you get done with the marathon, the brunch and the mimosa or the screwdriver afterwards is so good. I was like, well, let me let you in on a little secret. You don't need to run 26 miles to enjoy that.
No, not at all.
You can just go to your local establishment any Saturday or Sunday morning and hook yourself up with that. It's not a requirement to run 26 miles before you do that.
It's the same as those ball bags whenever I bust their chops about golf. They always say, well, we do a lot of beer drinking. Yeah, you can do that on a bar stool. All right, I'm sorry. This is a story from a few years ago, kind of a thing, and then it ends up in a medical journal, and then somehow it becomes a thing far after the fact. That's the situation we're in here. An amateur runner was involved in one of those dopey marathons in Slovakia, don't you know? So he's running along forever like they do. He wraps up the race. He thinks he's done a wonderful thing for his body. And then the next day, he's got a big, fat, painful lump on his penis. Along with the lump, the dude said he was getting random boners for a couple of days after running in the marathon. Rando bones, Cubby.
Yeah, the no-reason boner.
Big, fat lump on his dong, and he was getting super boners out of nowhere. Well, the lump turned out to be a damn blood clot in his pecker that could have spread to his lungs and killed him dead if he hadn't gone ahead and shown his penis to a doctor. He eventually went to the doctor a couple days later and said, lump, penis. Ended up with a blood clot. It formed... bear with me here because I have very little idea what I'm talking about. It formed in the tubes in your penis that fill with blood and makes a boner for a guy. Are you on board with what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The boner tubes?
Yeah.
Doctors signed him up for blood thinners, and then they cut his penis off, and he was fine. No, I'm kidding. They set him up with blood thinners and painkillers. And a week later, the pain was still gone, but he still had the clot in there. It took, is this right, Josh? It took 3 years for the blood clot to go away?
Yeah.
It's from running a marathon.
No. What'd you learn? Don't run marathons.
You hear about all the things, the bloody nipples, the diarrhea, but you never hear about blood clots in the penis.
No.
That's a new one on me.
That's a big cover-up. It's a government cover-up.
That might just make Dana change his mind about running a marathon.
Yeah, why not?
Don't risk it.
It says here things like running, sexual activity, drug or alcohol abuse, and a few other things will put a clot in your tallywhacker. So take it easy, for Christ's sake.
That's crazy to think he could have died from that.
Blood clot could have...
Penis clot.
Traveled from his...
boner tubes.
Special purpose all the way up to his lungs, heart, brain, whatever.
If I die from a penis clot, will you guys come up with some better story to tell people?
Nope.
No, that's fun. Yeah.
Actually, I don't care how you die. It was from a penis clot.
I do something unbelievably heroic, and you're like, yeah, he was sitting alone in his apartment, penis clot, drop dead.
Yeah. Nick, you save a bus full of kids?
Yeah.
Like a burning bus full of kids?
Dana, I'm sorry to tell you, but somehow you've become the guy where we're not going to cover that up. Yeah. We're gonna
clean your body up. We're going to bring you home, and we're going to make it look like you died from a penis clot.
All right, one more here, and then we got to get a 35-year-old man in Vietnam. He showed up at the hospital on Saturday, said he's been having terrible headaches for months. They dumped a CT scan on him, and he had a massive amount of swelling in his brain. And the reason he had swelling in his brain is he'd somehow gone 5 months without realizing he had 2 chopsticks jammed up his nose. They weren't full chopsticks.
Okay, that makes sense.
But they weren't small. One piece was 3 inches long, the other was 5 inches.
How are you forgetting about this? How?
He said he had no idea that he had a 3-inch chopstick up one nose hole and a 5-inch chopstick up the other. But then he remembered he'd been in a fight 5 months ago while he was out drinking. What the hell kind of hardcore ECW kind of a bar fight goes on down there in Vietnam? He got in a fight. He said he was out drinking, but he didn't remember any chopsticks going up his nose. Didn't remember somebody stabbed him with the chopsticks. He says he went to a hospital back then too, but the doctor didn't notice the chopsticks. So he had surgery over the weekend. Got them both hauled out of there. He is still in the hospital, but they say he's in stable condition. F me, that's a brutal fight. That's way worse than the strippers. Someone got this guy on his back with the chopstick and stabbing him up the...
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't do more damage.
Yeah.
Stab him in the brain.
Oh, I bet the pressure in the nose is just unbelievable.
And then a penis clot travels up to his...
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Smith fires over the middle. Great grab by Metcalf out in front, and he will go all the way for a touchdown. 73 yards. Lane just won Defensive Player of the Month for November, but obviously the voters didn't count November 30th.
Al Michaels with a smart-ass comment there.
He was good last night.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football, I caught a little bit of it. 0 punts and 327 penalty flags later, the Cowboys beat the Sea Ducks.
That was crazy.
It was such a high-scoring game.
It was.
The penalties were ridiculous.
It was just one of those every play, you just roll your eyes like, again?
The first drive that I watched was sometime early in the second half. I watched a drive by Dallas, I believe, was on offense, and there was a penalty flag, I believe, on every play. It was...
Yep.
Guys couldn't behave themselves last night.
Al even made a joke about it.
We're going to take the rest of the night off and let Cleet Blakeman call the game. You buying?
Sure. They were just going to go out for beers. Yeah. It's too much of the ref.
That's cute.
He's even going after Cleet Blakeman, the lead official. The Pigs, they tossed the spray tan man out on his ass, and suddenly they're the 1977 Montreal Canadiens.
That's fired the boys up, hasn't it?
They blew out the Predators last night in Nashville 6-1. We'll get into more details on that. Karl Anthony Towns had a big night, and the Timberwolves beat Utah by 11. Golden Gopher Basketball Club, even. Everybody whooped ass last night. Golden Gopher Basketball Club almost put 100 points on the board last night at home. And we'll even talk more about that Thursday Night Football game with Brad Ryder at 7:30 Also, Andrew DePaola from the Minnesota Vikings, the long snapper, going to join us. And you're saying, well, they don't even play on Sunday. That doesn't matter. Andrew's that nice of a guy. He's got that little going on in his personal life that he will join us as well at 7:30. Josh's News coming up next.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Grace here, customer service rep at Standard Heating. I'm proud to work for a company that understands and takes care of our fellow Minnesotans. Our weather here can be a little unpredictable and even extreme. That's why we've been here for 93 years and counting, to keep our community safe and comfortable.
On behalf of myself and Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, we would like to wish you a very happy holidays. And don't forget, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is open 24/7 for emergency services to make sure you stay warm this holiday season. Go to standardheating.com today.
Stacking Benjamins with Joe and his good friend OG not only has great financial insight, it's laid back with humor too.
Joe talks with Stacking Deeds co-host Crystal Hammond.
I've always been a fan of nosy neighbors. I want nosy neighbors. They can tell you what's going on 10 times faster than you would know.
Again, what's she talking about, Doug?
Really?
We're repairing neighborhoods, but then we're into nosy neighbors, and I built a career off of that.
Find out more by searching the Stacking Benjamins podcast, wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
I'm a sniper. Okay. I can kill you 1,500 yards away.
I'll be out tomorrow morning. Okay. And that guy will be dead in 6 months. I'm going to kill this dog, too.
A man was arrested in the Florida Keys after a traffic stop for a suspected DUI ended in a profanity-laced tirade, which included threatening to hump a dog. According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Walter Camp threatened to sexually assault and kill sheriff's deputies and their family members. He did this hundreds of times while by being arrested for driving under the influence. He even threatened to sexually assault and murder a police dog before telling everyone to F off.
You.
On several occasions in the video, he could be heard howling, as you just heard there. He did this at a police canine named Mako. In case you missed it in the clip earlier, he also said, "I'm a sniper. I could kill you from 1,500 yards away."
Oh, my God.
They were terrified, those cops. He was also seen pulling up his shirt several times in the video and pulling down his pants. Now he's facing a slew of charges, including DUI, grand theft of a motor vehicle, multiple counts of threatening a law enforcement officer or an officer's family, harassing a law enforcement canine, possession of marijuana, indecent exposure, and resisting arrest.
I kind of wish Mako would have just tore his face off a little bit. As soon as he said, like, I'll kill your dog, too, he just attacks.
This guy's a wild one, huh?
Yeah, it appeared that way. I'm hoping it's one of those things where he sobers up, realizes what he did, and just feels absolutely terrible about it. I'm going to doubt it based on all the things he did.
That's an extreme long shot, but...
that's the world I want to live in.
You're always thinking positively, Josh.
A New York woman led police on a chase at over 100 miles per hour after stealing $800 worth of Barbies from a Buffalo area Walmart. Cops say 28-year-old Emily Thompson swiped the Barbie haul Monday afternoon from a Walmart supercenter in Lockport. After officers spotted her car and tried to pull her over, she continued to flee, hitting speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour. Citing public safety concerns, they discontinued the chase, but located and arrested her the following day. It's unclear whether the Barbie merchandise was recovered.
Barbie dolls and such.
Yeah.
Huh?
They're popular now.
I'd say. Yeah, but going 100 miles an hour running from cops over some toys.
Yeah, that doesn't sit right.
There's a local story regarding a police chase that's gaining some steam online. Video of a Minnesota State Trooper's high-speed pursuit has become popular on social media due to his thick Minnesota accent, and because of the memorable talking to he gives the suspect once the chase is finally ended. I took a lot of the siren out of this clip here. I did as much as I could without ruining the audio, but just a heads up that there is a little still in there. By the way, the video was labeled Minnesota Trooper Goes Full Fargo on Suspect.
Watch as a Minnesota State Trooper on routine traffic patrol in Minneapolis ends up on a wild chase, with the suspect quickly escalating things to the extreme.
Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. 120 minutes, I got one. Come on, running from me. Stop your car! Get out! What is your problem? We're stopped. What is your problem? What is your problem, sir?
Driving without a license.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
Holy cow. I have never seen that sort of recklessness before.
Sorry, sir. I am totally sorry.
We are stopped. We are done. Code 4. Oh my goodness.
I am sorry.
Outside of the JC bomb at the start of the chase, social media users were impressed the trooper never swore.
Yeah, that is impressive.
He is a treasure.
Yeah.
I have never seen that sort of recklessness before.
He's never seen it.
That's so cute.
I think my noon text tone.
Holy cow.
I love it.
I love it.
An FBI special agent was carjacked at gunpoint Wednesday afternoon in Washington, D.C.
I looked at one with a gun, another with a gun, a third one behind me. So they said they wanted my car. I said, sure, you got to keep calm in those situations. And then they took off.
The FBI vehicle was found less than an hour later, about a mile from the site of the theft. But as of yesterday, police were still searching for the two suspects as the nation's capital copes with a spike in carjackings. Carjackings there have more than doubled this year. And recent victims include a diplomat from the United Arab Emirates and a lawmaker from Texas carjacked near the Capitol in October by 3 armed assailants who stole his car but didn't physically harm him. Earlier this month, Secret Service agents on a protection detail opened fire after 3 people tried to break into an unmarked Secret Service vehicle. Violent crime in Washington has also been on the rise this year, up more than 40% compared with last year.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna be there in like a couple weeks, so that's fun.
Oh, it's nice knowing you. How did Ashley die? Penis clot.
Yeah.
No.
The Bureau's Washington field office and the Metropolitan Police Department's carjacking task force are investigating.
The carjacking task force.
Yep, they're going after it. Denver's mayor can be counted among the growing number of auto theft victims in the Centennial State. On Tuesday, the office of the mayor of Mike Johnston disclosed his car was stolen from his neighborhood. Luckily, it's since been recovered, luckily for him. The car was taken about 6 a.m., found 10 hours later in neighboring Aurora. It's one of the 11,305 auto thefts logged in Colorado this year. In Denver this year specifically. And it's not even the first time the mayor's car has been stolen. In a post from January 1st, 2017, he tweeted, "Help, my car just got stolen from Office Depot." It's unclear if Johnston's car was ever recovered from the 2017 incident. Colorado's auto theft rate climbed by the fastest in the nation from 2011 to 2020, jumping 144% during those years.
I'll be damned.
A crematorium worker got the shock of his life when he went to a hospital morgue to collect the body of a deceased 90-year-old woman, only to find out she was still alive. The nightmarish incident occurred in Brazil Saturday, just hours after staff at the hospital pronounced her dead. The woman was zipped into a body bag and sent to the morgue, where the unsuspecting undertaker made the chilling discovery. She was said to be suffering from a problem with her liver and was unconscious. Unfortunately, Monday, she did die for real. After the 90-year-old was pronounced dead the second time, her new death certificate listed her cause of death as septic shock. The State Department of Health has launched an investigation into that incident.
How about that?
Yeah. Now, I have to warn you, these next 2 stories are disturbing, extra disturbing. But they're becoming big stories online, and I'll tell you what, you don't hear this too often, thank God. According to police in Arizona, a hospital security guard had sex with a woman's corpse inside a morgue freezer last month.
The family has been harmed. They have to live with this and this knowledge. These cases are very rare. This is really a tragic case.
Investigators arrested 46-year-old Randall Bird Tuesday. Multiple counts of crimes against a dead person until his recent firing. Bird worked at Banner University Medical Center in Phoenix, where he was responsible for transporting bodies to the hospital morgue. Cops allege that's where he abused the corpse of an elderly woman, which had been inside a body bag. Investigators say 2 witnesses reported spotting Bird inside the morgue freezer, sweating profusely. Acting very nervous. Additionally, his zipper was down. Uniform disheveled. Belt atop a gurney. When the witnesses entered the morgue, they told police Bird sought to cover up the dead woman's body. He claimed to have had a medical episode while inside the freezer and doesn't remember what happened.
How could you do such a thing? What's the matter with you?
A lot.
You got to just put these folks down, right?
Yeah, he can never get out of prison. There's no way. There's no way he's okay.
Just put him down.
He's not going to be okay. If you thought it couldn't get worse, here's another warning about another disturbing story involving the same repulsive behavior, believe it or not. An electrician in southeast England took pictures and videos of himself having sex with dead bodies in mortuaries and hospitals where he worked, and there was at least 100 of them.
It's just incomprehensible, the scale and the depravity of what he's done.
66-year-old David Fuller committed 140 violations against at least 101 bodies between 2005 and 2020. Police say each instance had time-stamped photographic or video evidence. The prosecutor said the level of necrophilia had never been seen on that scale before in a British court, and an inquiry was launched to find out how Fuller was able to get away with it for so long. He was brazen in committing the crimes, taking risks during working hours when other employees were around. Investigators said they couldn't determine how he'd been able to carry out the abuse during working hours without being caught. The electrician, who would occasionally have to perform maintenance on the refrigeration system in the mortuary, routinely entered the department as many as 444 times in 1 year without being properly questioned.
Did you see his mugshot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he would be into that.
You think so?
Yeah, gives me that kind of vibe.
The prosecutor said they will work diligently to prevent such abuse from ever happening again.
That's some dark, dark stuff right there, Cubby.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
We often wonder, how do you get there? But now we know where he's going, and hopefully the rest of his life. In theaters today, Silent Night. A father witnesses his young son die on Christmas Eve after being caught in a gang's crossfire, which also left him without a voice. He then trained rigorously to enact his long-awaited revenge against the ruthless gang. From director John Woo and the producer of John Wick, the new action thriller stars Joel Kinnaman. I love Joel Kinnaman.
I wouldn't know what it means to be Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, I don't know how many things. Well, have you seen? Not you probably haven't. Yeah, he's. He was on The Killing.
Says he was in RoboCop.
He was in the remake of RoboCop. Yeah, you didn't see that though.
I would never bring myself to watch the remake of RoboCop.
What was the show The Killing? Is that what it is?
Yep, The Killing.
Yeah, he was great.
Don't worry about it. I appreciate the effort.
I'd play a clip, but there's no dialogue. He doesn't talk.
Did you guys ever see the I'm a Dad and I'm going to take revenge on a ruthless gang movie starring, I think it was Kevin Bacon? Somebody look that up. To Kevin Bacon. I almost swear to God it's Kevin Bacon.
If I have, it doesn't ring a bell.
And if I remember right, his kid gets killed by a ruthless gang and then he takes revenge.
Death sentence?
That's right. Really good.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah, that is good.
It's good.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, you should.
Everybody's seen it but me. Death sentence.
That's right.
Death.
And the gang, talks to him. You're never gonna get back at us. You're a 612. You're a city guy. You're a punk. You're a soft. SAWFT. Soft. Yeah, we're not even afraid of you. They said. And he said, "Oh, okay, keep talking." Keep talking.
Now streaming on Prime, Eddie Murphy in Candy Cane Lane. A man determined to win the neighborhood's annual Christmas decorating contest makes a pact with an elf to help him win without realizing the costs that would bring. On Disney Plus today, the streaming premiere of the 5th Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Then on Peacock, the streaming premiere of Exorcist, The Believer. On this day in movie history, 1989, 34 years ago, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation released in theaters.
They have that on Netflix right now.
Yeah, it's streaming a few different places. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that again. It's an annual tradition. Love that show. Speaking of annual traditions, shows you love, Toys for Tatas, our charity toy drive, Rick's Cabaret, downtown Minneapolis, back again 1 week from today. Stop in with an unwrapped new toy, get free cover, Rick's complimentary buffet, and as always, we're happy to provide an alibi should you need one. No charge for that. Doors at 6 a.m., buffet 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., cash bar 8 a.m., all toys donated to local charities. And if you have yet to have time to get a gift, older kids and teens don't usually get as much attention as the little kids do, so if you think of it while shopping, always a special need for those kids. That's an age group that could use a little extra love.
I hear you.
Ozzy Osbourne, somehow turning 75 on Sunday. Wow. Tomorrow, Britney Spears, 42.
Ooh. Oh, no. She's probably going to put up a new video.
I think so. I mean, she just posted one the other day, naked in bed. And
yeah,
I'm
on
sure
the
she'll
beach.
do one for her birthday.
She's just scrapping.
Turning 46 today, Lincoln Park guitarist Brad Delson. Few shout-outs in the brother and sisterhood. 2 pumps and a squeeze. Jesus sent in some great news with a shout-out to his dad, Jersey Designing Jesus, now 1 year sober. Congratulations. Happy 23rd birthday tomorrow to Folgers Can Jesus. Happy 61st today to Tig Welder Jesus. And that's 93X News.
The Minnesota Vikings interview.
You hate to have too much time to stew in your own juices.
Touchdown! Vikings win it!
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Who on the team would you trust with Thanksgiving dinner?
Austin Schlottman.
Alexander Madison.
Yeah, CJ, he got all the kids, so I'll trust CJ.
Most of the O-linemen, not Andrew DePaola.
I have a restaurant, so yeah, I would do it for sure. Myself.
Here we go. Brad Ryder, how's it going, son?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. The pressure's all on you. Randy Shaver is out of town and unavailable this morning. So if you're going to argue with someone...
Boy, it's going to make it tough for me to argue.
If you're going to argue with someone, it's going to have to be one of us, Brad.
Or the leaf blower guy. Maybe he'll make an appearance.
He made an appearance already 20 minutes ago.
I love this
While
guy.
it was dark outside, and I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
This is just the coolest friggin' routine that's
The
happened.
leaves are frozen to the ground. It's dark outside. It's Friday. What are we doing?
Guys got to pay the bills.
I guess.
Got to pay the bills.
Jeez, Brad.
No Randy Shaver this morning. You can argue with Depot if you want to. He's a grown-up. He can handle it. Good morning, Andrew DePaola.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, thanks for joining us on your time off. Very cool of you to do so.
Absolutely. I look forward to this.
Well, what do you? What responsibility? I'm gonna act like that was a legitimate compliment, but at the same time, I got the sneaky feeling that your appearance with us this morning is maybe getting you out of some other responsibility. I know how folks operate.
Or do you get time and a half for this? Maybe that's what it is. You got a lot of mouths to feed.
Pleading the fifth right now. Pleading the fifth.
You're the best, Andrew. We appreciate it. So yeah, you got some time off ahead of you. What's the plan? I mean, how much exact time off are you looking at? First thing, and are you going anywheres?
Well, yeah. So we had off right after the game. So we've had off the whole week.
Oh, really? Oh, Christ. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And me, the wife, and kids, we headed back home to Maryland, just to get away from the freezing cold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not much warmer here, but it's warmer than Minnesota, so I'll take it.
Okay. So you got the hell out of town Sunday. Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been out of town ever since, and you've got up until when to cut loose and raise some hell?
I think everybody's coming back Sunday. We'll come back because we have to report Monday morning.
All right.
Do you feel kind of ripped off that you had to play a Monday night game before the bye week? Wouldn't you rather had a Sunday noon game and then had an extra night off?
I mean, if you're trying to maximize time off, yeah. But I mean, there's nothing like playing on Monday night.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The trade-off, though, is I think you must have got Thanksgiving Day off then because you had that extra day over Thanksgiving, right?
So we had most of Thanksgiving off.
Yeah.
We had to come in the morning. We had some quick meetings. We had a quick practice, and then Coach gave us off for the rest of the day. We were done at noon, I think.
Nice.
This is kind of a late bye week for you guys. Do you prefer the later bye weeks, or would you rather have your bye week a little bit earlier in the season?
Personally, I prefer to look later like this, just to kind of get your first stretch of games in. And then get a nice little break. I think the way guys would want it is you kind of want that Thursday game to fall a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Because the Thursday game is a mini bye, and then you get your actual bye later in the year, kind of like we did.
Yeah.
So Andrew DePaola, you got to tell me now. Here you are, a veteran, all-pro NFL athlete. Got a pretty decent paycheck coming in and all that.
Business owner. Family man.
Family. Do you, like the rest of us schmucks, do you get that end of vacation feeling of dread as it's winding down?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm actually looking forward to getting back.
You dick.
Get back into
That's really rude. Come on, just make us feel better about our lives for a second.
So you must really love your job.
I can't tell you how much I love being
great.
a football player and especially playing for the Vikings.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
It's the best.
Is it a contract year or is this legit?
No, I've got 2 left on my contract.
2 left.
Because we all know that feeling. I bet you Brad Ryder even knows that feeling. I mean, okay. I mean, yeah. Even if you like your job, when vacation starts when a week off starts to wind down, don't we all just get that feeling of dread?
When I will admit, when I used to work in sports for all those years, you wanted your teams to go to the playoffs. But I will admit, as a PR guy, and Andrew, I'm sure your PR guys would say the same thing, if your team doesn't make the playoffs, there's a little part of you that doesn't actually mind it all that much.
I love that honesty.
Hey, with some of the people that I think our PR department has to work with, I'm pretty sure some of them might agree with you on that.
That's great.
Off the record.
Yeah.
So, Brad, did you watch a couple of critical regular season games and maybe once or twice root against the team you were working for?
You don't out and out root against your team, but there's 2 sides to it. You know, if you don't win, there's that other side where you think, okay, well, at least maybe I can go on vacation a week earlier than I was going to now, but yeah.
I hear you. Well, good for you, Andrew. Good that you don't have that feeling. And it doesn't, Josh, it doesn't happen every time. I guess I should. It doesn't happen every time.
No, there's times you just can't wait to come back.
There are times.
That's true. We do feel that way.
There are. But there are times where you go, God help it. You're like 2.5 days left, and you're going, oh, no.
Yeah, or times that, we have to take off for stupid reasons. Something goes on around here, something's wrong. That does kind of suck.
What was that Thanksgiving audio we were hearing there, Andrew DePaola? Did you hear that? They got you involved in some kind of a Thanksgiving bit?
Yeah, I think it was like, one of those, where somebody comes around and just asks, a little off-the-wall questions, like, who would you trust to cook Thanksgiving dinner? Yeah, I remember. I heard that, yeah.
All right. And yeah, I bet you could cook up a storm, right? Being a guy who...
Yeah, heck yeah.
I mean, I like to believe in my abilities. Yeah, I think I could do a good job.
Did you cook?
No.
No, he could have, but he didn't.
See, my wife does such a good job. She took all that.
All right, so we have some foodies on this program. I'm not one of them. I don't understand folks who will sit around, not sit around, folks who will spend all day mixing up this and cooking up that. And I'm very simple, and I don't get into food, but we have some people here who are foodies, and you can't get them to shut up about it sometimes. So, Andrew DePaola, what is your specialty? You can't say bagels. What is your specialty if, like, say, someday you were going to brew us up something special?
Does grilling count?
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah. I wish I was better at that.
Yeah, because, I mean, if I'm on the grill, just let me know what you like, how you want it. It's coming out, just like you said.
All right.
I hear you.
Are you someone that might take like a couple days? I have a friend he's the best. I've never had anybody make better barbecue for us, but he'll start like on a Friday for Sunday just to get like putting it in the oven, smoking it, seasoning, all that kind of stuff. He takes a really long time for it.
Yeah, I replaced my grill at the cabin with a Blackstone this year.
Lucky, I want one of those so bad.
I don't know, if you have one of those, Andrew. I will say that I kind of miss the grill a little bit. I mean, the Blackstone is great for making breakfast, for making eggs and bacon and pancakes and all that kind of stuff. You can do that in hash browns. That's great. But I kind of miss the grill when you're doing steaks and burgers.
You're not going to hibachi on it? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Get some stir fry going, get some steaks on there, smash burgers.
But I miss the steaks on the grill. I miss those marks. I miss the grill marks on the steaks a little bit.
It's better on a flat top. You get the juices.
You see what I'm talking about, Andrew?
Yeah, you guys get into it. You know your stuff.
So if we put you on the grill, we would be pleased with the results, Andrew.
Yeah, I would hope so.
You got skills.
Yeah,
you got all different sets of skills.
We could have an event someday.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Where Depot's on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have to ask you about the fake punt against the Broncos. Our listeners have been texting in since it happened. It was awesome. You got a lot of recognition for it. Was that on purpose, or was it just a bad snap that turned out well?
Oh man, it was on purpose. Believe it or not, we meant to do that.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good call. I mean, it was good time in the game to call it. Good execution by everybody all around. It was, kind of just like everything aligned, and it worked out.
Is the center sneak still legal?
In what way? What do you mean?
If my memory serves me right, Brad Ryder helped me out with this.
Yeah.
There used to be a play that you'd see now and again in the NFL, like say when I was a kid, where the center would snap the ball, and as long as it touched the quarterback's hands, but the center hung on to the ball, he could move forward with it. Am I right about that, Brad?
I believe so. I don't know if it's still legal, but I believe so.
It's the old school center sneak. You know what I'm talking about, Andrew DePaola?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's not legal.
Okay.
Because you could try that sometime, maybe.
Yeah, it used to be. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think there's some kind of rule where like you can't even advance a fumble. That might be like within the last 2 minutes of the half or the game, but yeah, like even a fumble you can't advance it.
All right. I was just curious because that was always kind of a cute play to watch. It's different nowadays. I mean, look at yourself as a long snapper. I mean, you're built like a real athlete. Back in the day, the centers and he's like the chubbiest guy on the ball field was a center, and to see him carry the ball even 2 or 3 yards was a lot of laughs. Not as many laughs as that last play of your game against Chicago, but it was a decent amount of laughs.
They've kind of replaced that center snap with the tush push.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Seriously, Andrew, the last play of the Bears game was something to see.
That was fun.
That was that was wild. I don't hear the play call, so I didn't know we were running that. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh man, here we go.
Buckle up.
Last night's football game, Thursday Night Football, it was one of only a handful of NFL games ever where there were 0 punts. When's the last time you had a night off like that?
Never. I've never had a game where we never punted.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you've got one of those coming.
Would be nice. Would be nice.
There were 0 punts for either ball club in last night's ball game. And
I'll be honest though, it doesn't really change my job because like my routine on the sideline stays the same. Like no matter if we punt or not, I just don't actually have to go out into the game and do my job.
Well, what the hell are you doing on the sideline?
Like during when we're on offense, I'll take a couple snaps on the sideline with our punter. Just ask him hey, what kind of punt are you thinking here? What direction are we thinking? And then, I'll talk about maybe strategy with the coach, like, hey, what are we thinking about look-wise, like where we are on the field, if they're going to rush, if they're going to return, just stuff like that. So, my routine while we're on offense doesn't change, just like if we convert the third down or if we get to a certain point in the field, like by the time we get to the opposite 40, 38, then I start doing short snaps, and I'm like, all right, we're not punting from this distance, but my routine stays the same.
You stay busy regardless. Okay.
Yeah, if you're not long snapping a punt, you're long snapping a field goal or an extra point. So
yeah.
I didn't even consider that, but you're exactly right. Well, it'd be kind of cool. Maybe sometime you'd get a night off and 0 punts.
That'd be cool to That'd be cool to have. That'd be cool to say.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't have to do my job today.
Yeah. They dock you and pay.
What is this now? Do you know about this yet, Andrew? I mean, you're on vacation. Maybe you don't pay attention to Jack Squad, but this is... You guys are set to play a Saturday game against the Cincinnati Bengals now in a couple weeks?
Oh, yeah, I saw that come through. Yeah. I guess that game wasn't actually scheduled. Like, it was just... It kept saying, to be determined, right? Or was it actually scheduled?
No, you're right. It was to be determined.
To be determined. Okay.
Okay, so then they put us on Saturday. What time did they put us at? Do you know?
I'm
going to take a look here.
It's noon.
Oh, noon?
Okay, noon, December 16th. Now that game time has been determined. That is a Saturday. Does that bother you one way or the other?
No, not really. It shortens up the week for recovery because, we'll have to play a day earlier. But, no.
Well, flexible guy.
I think that's considered prime time, right? Like those are prime time games because it's the only game on.
Yeah, there's three games on that day, and that's the only game on at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's considered a primetime game now.
Is that what? All right, cool. Primetime, yeah.
It's noon, Vikings, Bengals, 3:30, Steelers, Colts, and then the nightcap is Broncos at Lions.
You get like any kind of a bonus because it's a primetime game or what?
No.
No?
No overtime, no bonus pay.
A little extra something on the paycheck. You've told us before you can't sing at all, can you?
No.
Is this a regular thing? The Philadelphia Eagles made a Christmas album?
Yeah, I think they've been doing it for like the past 2 or 3 years.
You don't happen to know a defensive tackle by the name of Jordan Davis, do you?
I know who he is. I don't know personally.
Because I was seeing something last night. The Eagles made a Christmas album, and apparently this Jordan Davis guy sings like an angel.
Got to see him singing it, too. It's awesome.
It's a big, giant
He's
guy.
huge. Yeah, you just don't expect that voice out of somebody that looks like that.
Now, Josh, you're a big sucker for Christmas music. Are you going to buy the Philadelphia Eagles Christmas record?
Well, one of the songs charted, I believe. Jason Kelsey. I think that his song charted.
Oh, of course it did. Talk about taking a nice story and throwing it into a garbage can. Of course, a Kelsey guy farted, and the world has been turned on its ear. Sorry I blew up, Andrew. You don't need to be involved in things like this.
All right. I do have a question, though. So, and I think this question is perfect for you guys because you're kind of in this realm. But how much does the equipment matter when they're singing? Like if you took somebody who's like okay at singing or not that great, would they sound better?
Number one, Andrew, I just want to say right from the get-go here, I love that you ask questions. I really do. You almost every week seem to have something, and I dig that about you. How much, Josh, you'd be able to answer that. Josh knows sound equipment and techie stuff, and you'd be able to answer that, I bet. How much does equipment have to do with how well a guy comes off singing?
Well, if somebody can sing, it doesn't really matter as much. But if somebody can't sing, it makes a pretty big difference.
Well, and just think about back in the day when you guys, like garage bands were coming out, you had crappy recording equipment and sounded like a garage band. But now these local bands coming out, it sounds like produced albums.
You're right. You're 100% correct. I mean, how many local groups? I mean, there's a lot of talent in this town.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really good rock bands, and they'll send us stuff, and it sounds like they went to a studio to record it. And a lot of times, it's in somebody's bedroom, just with a copy of Pro Tools.
Pro Tools, that's the word we hear over and over again, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can make somebody who sounds terrible sound good.
That's not the word. There's
auto-tune?
Auto-tune.
Mm-hmm.
That's the term.
We've even got. I bought a auto-tune program. We auto-tune Wapple sometimes.
When
he does his singing.
Well, why don't we test this out and get your carcass into a record studio, Andrew DePaola, and we see if you say you can't sing, maybe we can turn you into a singer.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, you got to sound good.
Record a sexy song for your wife or something.
Yeah, this place is a dump, but you could come in here and record it. We've got some of the stuff.
We do?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, I've been there. That place is legit.
Shh, give me a break.
Are you serious?
Did you look
I
at the floor?
I thought that was really cool.
Wow.
I thought that was really
If a location scout for the movie Saw this place, they would immediately have it on the short list for Saw 12 or whatever's coming up. Because it does look like people have been tortured in here.
That's true. There are a lot of stains on the carpet.
Nothing's been cleaned.
It was a little dark when I was walking through, I'll admit. When Dana was walking me back, I was like kind of ready. Had my fist clenched.
It's kind of creepy in
Yeah,
here.
there's a lot of nooks and crannies.
I'm glad you were impressed, though. Glad you were impressed. Well, Andrew, you're almost back to work. What are you going to try to? You going to try to get anything accomplished before it all comes to an end?
What, back here?
Yeah, before you have to go back to work, you just going to lay low, or you got anything planned?
I think we're going to lay low. We do have a wedding we have to attend, so we'll
get
do
hammered.
No, can't do that because what do I got to do? I got to fly back the next day, so.
Well, you just stay hammered.
Well, yeah, come on, man. Will you dance?
Ooh.
I think me and my wife will get out there and we'll cut it up a little bit.
Really?
Kind of have some fun.
Family member or a friend, if you don't mind us asking?
That's a friend of ours. Down in
Nice
Florida.
that fell on the bye week.
Yeah, it was nice of them to plan their wedding around your bye week.
Well, it's funny because as soon as the schedule came out, he texted me and was like, "Bro, you can make the wedding." And I was like, "Oh." But like they're awesome friends. They've helped us a lot. They've supported us. He's visited us in Oakland when we played for the Raiders, and he's kind of followed us all over. So they're good people. So we definitely wanted to at least be there for them.
Well, that's nice. I mean, it's also nice to know you look at weddings the same way the rest of us do. Yeah. For God's sake. I can make it. Here's the bad news. I can make it. Andrew, we appreciate you joining us. We really do, and especially seeing how you could have just slept in this morning. So thanks again, and I don't know when. We'll talk soon. What, next Friday?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
One more thing, though, before we let them go, we should let the brother and sister know that the Pro Bowl voting opened up yesterday. So if we want to get Depot back to the Pro Bowl, let's get on those keyboards and start mashing.
We can post all that, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I tweeted it yesterday, so it's Vikings.com/Pro Bowl is the site you go to. And
wait, are you okay going back to the Pro Bowl, Andrew?
Yeah, we should have asked Andrew first. Maybe he's got other plans.
Thank you for asking me. Yes, I am. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's in Orlando this year, so I think that'll be cool. That'll be neat.
I always thought Orlando was a massive toilet bowl, but anyway, if you're cool with it, then we'll push for it again. Not that you need much help from us, but really, we appreciate you coming on your week off.
Yeah, love having you on.
We'll talk to you in a week. Have a good one, Andrew DePaola.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
You bet. Take care, pal.
Yeah.
No game this Sunday for the Vikes. They'll come back in a week and play. I think, Brad Ryder, their next game is against the Raiders.
Yes, in Las Vegas.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, 0 punts in last night's Thursday night football game, but the amount of penalty flags we were commenting earlier,
gosh.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, those two teams, I think, lead the NFL. They're 1-2 or 1-3 in penalties. So, yeah, a lot of laundry.
And you know what? Yeah, I caught a little bit of this game. And I don't know how many of you get too wound up in this kind of thing, but it was beautiful seeing the Seahawks wear their old 80s uniforms.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh, those look so good. Back
really
in the day of Steve Largent and Jim Zorn and Kenny Easley and Brian Bosworth. Oh, I loved those. They should do something about that.
Yeah. Yep. They were cool.
What else is going on? Sports Illustrated is getting their balls busted for naming Deion Sanders their sports person of the year.
I would agree with that. Why? What are we doing?
Oh, that cracks me up.
There's nobody else in the entire world of sports that did anything other than win 4 football games this year.
That's funny. Yes, you're right. Here's what Sports Illustrated says. In less than a year, Coach Prime has not only transformed a moribund Colorado football program, he also breathed fresh life into the campus and transformed a community. And he did those things. He did.
Mm-hmm. For a month.
And that's what folks are saying. They're saying the other side of that coin is that he went 4-8 on the season and 1-8 in his conference. Is that? I think those are accurate numbers. I think those are. Yeah, you can't argue the impact he's made on their program. But then again, weren't we just talking a couple of days ago that now that they went 4-8, a bunch of players are ducking out of his program?
Yeah, recruits they've changed their minds.
Yeah.
Even Tim Brewster left.
Yeah. If you can't keep Brew around, something's wrong.
He had a fun time there for a little while, Deion did, but his team more or less sucked. So folks are saying it's a Sports Person of the Year award, not the Sports Person of September.
Yeah.
No. I don't know how you don't give that to Travis Kelce. Insane. With Taylor Swift and everything that went on, they have a whole new fan base coming into the NFL.
As much as I don't like his attention, I would agree. I would rather have given it to him.
The NFL are such dicks. They really are. The folks who run the NFL are total dicks. And they take themselves so seriously. They're so special. Did you hear the story about this 20-year-old kid who isn't allowed to work for the NFL anymore and why the league has given him the boot?
No.
Yeah.
So stupid.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't, especially since... Well, go ahead.
I go on as, I'm interested in hearing...
You have to hear the story first for my point, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this young kid by the name of Kevin Fitzgibbons, however the hell you say his stupid name. Now I don't even want to talk about him anymore. He's got a stupid name.
Well, it's not his fault.
He's a college student at the University of Miami. He somehow gets connected with Tyreek Hill, the hotshot wide receiver for the Dolphins, and he says, hey, I'm majoring in social media or whatever the hell. I could help you get more visible on social media. The two of them become friends, and then a handful of games ago, am I right, Josh? It was this season. Tyreek Hill scores a touchdown for the Dolphins, and he does some kind of a bit in the end zone with this Fitzgibbons kid. The Fitzgibbons kid got hired by the NFL to film content for them at Dolphins home games. So Tyreek Hill and this Fitzgibbons become friends. They do some gimmick in the end zone together. And I think because the kid used a prop, a cell phone, for whatever reason, however it happened, they violated some NFL rule, Tyreek Hill and this kid, with Hill's touchdown celebration. And they fired the kid and said he's no longer allowed to work at Dolphins games, and he may actually be looking at a ban from the NFL. He can't work in any capacity in the NFL because of 10 seconds worth of a touchdown dance gimmick.
So he was actually in the end zone.
He was in the end zone.
Okay.
When Tyreek Hill scored, and now he's been canned.
I mean, I'm not defending the NFL, but I kind of understand why, because they don't want this to happen all over the place. I mean,
why does he have to be suspended? Why not just say, hey, you can't do this?
Reprimand the kid.
And also, if it was that big of a deal, I looked yesterday, that video, and it was a cool celebration, was still on NFL's Twitter.
Yeah, the video's still posted.
I mean,
everywhere.
Really? If they really had such a big problem with it, they're promoting.
Oh, they are.
Come on.
So they're certainly interested in people going to their account and taking a look at the video.
You're right. They do speak out of both sides of their mouth a lot.
Yes, they do. It got him a hell of a lot of exposure, even more exposure than Travis Kelce, apparently, according to Waffle. The kid says, this was the greatest job in the world. I never took a day for granted. I can't thank the NFL enough for the opportunity, but, he's upset. I hope I get another chance, he says. Now, Tyreek Hill is doing the right thing. He has offered to pay the kid's salary that he no longer is taking in from the NFL.
Yeah.
Man, K-Fitz, we got a long history together, and I told him, don't let this get to you, man. Like, just hold your head up. You're still young. Continue to do what you love. So, obviously, like, me and him going to continue to work together, and I told him I was going to cover his salary, whatever the NFL was going to pay him or whatever. I told him I was going to, make sure that I do what's right and, take care of you. Make sure you're not out of a job. That's my guy.
With the amount of publicity this is getting, that kid will be just fine, though. He'll end up on his feet somewhere else with some other league, and if Tyreek Hill's going to keep giving him money, he'll be okay.
I'm sure you're right about that. But, I mean, his dream was to do what he was doing. Sure, he'll probably get a job with the Cleveland Guardians or whatever. But
yeah, that makes me sad for him.
Tyreek might hire him to be his social media guy, his own personal, who knows.
Yeah, this kid,
I hope so.
The kid, cool. He was involved in, God forbid, a touchdown celebration, a fun, memorable moment, and he's canned like he's a criminal. That's how effing dumb.
Plus, he did his job perfectly. I mean, that's the point of their job is to get clicks, and he got a lot more clicks than anyone else did.
Did I miss anything in there, Josh? I
don't think so.
That sucks. This is the stuff. This is one of the many reasons why I will never be the same level of an NFL fan as I was 25 or so years ago. What a bunch of self-absorbed pricks. Just have a sit down with the kid if you're that pissed off about it.
Yeah, it seems that would have been more reasonable, right? To say, hey, listen, you can't do something like that.
I'm sorry, did you say, what happens to Tyreek Hill? What kind of trouble is he in?
He was fine.
None.
He was? Oh, that was it?
He wasn't fine?
Okay. I don't know. I
thought he was.
I think he was because he used a prop.
Yeah, because, I mean, just watching the video over and over again, it looks like it was more Tyreek Hill's idea. But
Yeah.
That's
It
just
was.
me.
No, Tyreek Hill even admitted. He said, hey, I kind of pulled the kid in on this. He didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, that's just.
And so he feels bad about it. I'm sure Tyreek Hill got some kind of fine. What is it? Doesn't bother him.
Maybe he wasn't. I thought I heard he was.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, even if he did,
The league's logic, and again, I don't agree with that. I'm just saying the league's logic is they don't want 29 other teams bringing employees out onto the field for end zone celebrations. So that's
I understand the motivation, but to gas the kid,
no, I know.
Carl had a big game last night, and the Wolves beat the Utah Jazz, Brad Ryder, with Anthony Edwards on the sideline.
Yeah, they've got an opportunity here even next week now with these 2 added games. I think they play Memphis and San Antonio. Because we talked about this because they didn't advance in the in-season tournament. They have to add a couple regular season games to make up for that. So they lucked out and got a couple of, you'd think, are gimmies next week. So they're 14-4 right now. Is that right? So
they're tied with Boston for the best record in the league.
They'll be 16-4, 17-4 at the end of next week, and you just got to hope that they stay healthy because it appears everybody's bought in on both sides of the floor on this deal.
They've got Charlotte tomorrow, and then you're right, San Antonio, and then Memphis in the next 3 games. But not only did Carl have a big game, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, or as they're calling him on television, Naw. He had 20 points. Rudy, I mean, come on. We gotta admit, Rudy Gobert looks like a completely different player this year. He still can't catch a basketball any better than a 7-year-old.
Right.
But he does look like a different player this year.
Well, he's doing things on defense that I don't think he did last year because maybe I'm going to defend him a little bit here too. Like maybe last year he didn't understand the defensive scheme they were trying to run or something. Sometimes it takes a while to figure that out. But then whatever they've done over the summer or worked with him in camp this year, it's worked because he doesn't have to score 10 points. He doesn't have to even score 8 points a game. If he just plays defense the way he has been, they got other guys who can score. I mean, Edwards and Towns, and they don't need Gobert to score. They just need him to play defense the way he has been playing. I saw a clip on Twitter from the OKC game the other night. Some of you guys probably saw it too. At the end of the game, that sequence where he was just all over the place. He shut down 2 or 3 guys driving the lane and the kickouts, and man, that's why they traded the farm for him.
Yeah, and maybe you're right. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't understand what the hell was going on last year. You'd think he would, but maybe he didn't. And again, it is comical how you can bounce past the basketball to Rudy Gobert, and he will go weepity deep, and it'll end up in the 5th row. I don't get it. I don't get how a guy his size cannot stick a fork in the friggin' basketball. But despite my rage, he is a much improved player. All right, I got something for you here, Brad Ryder, because you love that Jimmy Bottles.
I do.
Jimmy Butler. I couldn't possibly care about stuff like this here, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. Jimmy Butler has gone ahead and filed to trademark the term emo Jimbo for use on athletic apparel such as shirts, hoodies, pants, jackets, footwear, and hats. If you remember right, when Butler arrived at Media Day this year for the Miami Heat, he had on a wig. Folks referred to it as an emo look with the hair hanging over one of his eyes, and he had a lip piercing and an eyebrow. But here's what comes to mind for me. Over and over again, I read that an athlete has filed to trademark this or that, a slogan, whatever, right? We hear that all the time.
Yep.
Tom Brady trademarked the phrase, "I'm a total lunatic," or whatever.
I don't think so.
It might have been TB12, but yeah.
This athlete trademarked the phrase, "Eatin' ain't cheatin'." I don't know. You hear it all the time. I hear these slogans, the real ones. I'm kidding about the ones I just mentioned. And it always says, now these players have the right to sell hats and T-shirts with this. I've never once ever seen anyone wearing a hat or a T-shirt with the slogan on them. Never once.
Me either.
I think sometimes they do that to prevent other people from selling a hat or T-shirt using their saying or whatever it is.
Oh, so it's not so much about making money, it's about protecting some kind of...
Yeah, in some cases, right.
So other people can't make money off of them.
Oh, for God's sake, how dumb.
I've seen Brady wear his TB12 stuff before in interviews.
Yeah. Andrew Wiggins was ruled out of the Golden State Warriors game last night against the Los Angeles Clippers because he slammed that's not a word. He slammed a car door on his hand.
Oh.
That doesn't feel good.
Oh, you've done it? I've never done that before. How do you do that?
Oh, yeah.
It's
just
like
not paying attention, going too fast.
I've seen somebody else slam another person's hand in the car door.
Who the hell hasn't mastered the act of closing your car door yet?
Are you like holding the side? How do you do that?
I guess just like grabbing it instead of grabbing the handle, just grabbing my door and trying to shut it quick.
Oh, and then not getting your hand out of the way?
Yep, exactly.
He slammed his hand in a car door. Andrew Wiggins.
Well, it's better than your head, right, Wapple?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad, if you haven't heard the story, Wapple's sister tried to decapitate him with the sliding door of a minivan.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we were going to, everyone was getting out of the van, piling out, trying to get Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
I was super happy. Yay, Dilly Bot, wham! Right in my head.
I friggin' love that story.
That's
Just
awesome.
picturing your little pea-sized cranium.
Oh, you were young? How old were you?
Maybe 8.
Maybe that's why your head never developed.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
It's the same size as when you were a child.
That's why I have to buy youth hats.
He's got the tiniest little skull, and I just picture it rattling around the framework of that van door. You know what I mean?
It's so stupid. I buy a regular size hat, like snapback. I put it to where it fits, and then I have to cut off the tail of the snapback. So it doesn't look like it's really long.
But that's why you had to repeat 3rd grade, though, right? Was that van incident?
Yeah, that and in preschool, kindergarten.
Another one of your old pals, Brad Ryder, Kevin Garnett, was being talked about on a podcast the other day. Well, and I'm sure you remember Jeff Teague.
Oh, yeah. No, I know Jeff.
Was he a really nice guy?
He was.
Yeah.
He's just very quiet. So some of those guys who are quiet come off a little misunderstood once in a while. But, privately, he was a really good guy.
Back to Wapple. I got a story about Jeff Teague that Wapple's going to like. Maybe you remember this, Wapple. I'll tell you in a minute. So Jeff Teague, former Timberwolf point guard. I liked him. I did. He was a solid player and seemed like a nice... He was on a podcast recently talking about how nuts Kevin Garnett was when he was a player. And Jeff Teague said about Kevin Garnett, that dude got on all fours one time in a playoff game and barked at me.
He did what?
Got on all fours and barked at me in a playoff game. Dude, crazy.
This is when Teague was playing for the Atlanta Hawks and KG was playing for the Celtics. God, I wish there was video of that.
I weirdly, I seem to remember that. I think there might be out there somewhere. Some video on it.
He's just barking.
Good God.
How do you respond to something like that?
Bark back?
You got to be a little concerned if you see something like that. He said that KG was crazy. See, do you remember this Jeff Teague story now, Wapple? A number of years when Jeff Teague was playing for the Timberwolves. I went to a WWE show. You had to have been there, too. And it was just a house show, and had pretty good seats. I was probably 10 rows on the main floor. About 3 rows behind me during the show, I look over my shoulder, and I said to my buddy at the time, I said, it's Jeff Teague back there, a couple 3 rows behind us.
Nice. He's 3 rows behind you. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I didn't even catch that.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like trying to see over Dean Garrett or something like that. I mean, Jeff Teague, well, how tall was Jeff Teague, Brad Ryder? 6'2" or something?
6'2", 6'3". And the funny thing is, before you finish your story, I think I might have remembered that event because I remember Jeff coming to me and asking me if I knew anybody with Target Center that could help him out with tickets for that.
Right, so
I connected him with somebody. So apparently your connections were better than mine.
I was going to say, you couldn't even get him better tickets than the radio guy?
No.
We actually do all right around here. The WWE is kind to us. So anyway, at one point or another, I had to take a squeege, and when I walked past Jeff Teague to get to the men's room, I noticed Wample. He was wearing a full-on satin Bret Hart jacket.
Dude, sweet.
There was this one guy, I saw him twice at shows, and he was right by ringside, and he had a pink satin jacket like the Bret Hart one.
Yeah.
And it said Flair on the back, and it was all bedazzled out. It was so cool.
Well, Jeff Teague's, I'm having a hard time explaining it to you. I mean, it was satin, but it was like a spray type art. Do you know what the words are?
Like an airbrushed thing?
That's where I'm airbrush. It was like an airbrushed, full-on Bret the Hitman Hart jacket. And I thought, okay, I'm going to bother Brad for tickets to the next game because this guy's cool.
Yeah, no, he was cool.
Speaking of barking, Titus O'Neil.
Oh, dude. He would bark at you too, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Then
worldwide.
Then he went sliding under the ring and
Oh, that's so funny.
head first under the ring. Corey Graves almost had a heart attack. He was laughing so hard. That was the greatest thing that ever happened.
Oh, yeah.
And here comes Titus O'Neil into the Royal Rumble. Oh, my God. This is a huge dude, and he went all the way under the ring. He tripped on his way. He's running. I could watch that video every day.
It was a show in like Saudi Arabia too,
Yeah.
so the ramp was extra long.
Oh, God.
yeah.
It was a 100-yard dash.
Took him a half hour to get down there.
I'm kind of kicking myself, guys. I got a little bit of FOMO that I didn't force myself into studio when you had the Nature Boy in the other day.
Oh, it was cool.
He was so cool.
I thought about it. I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy, but I wish I would have been that guy now because I would have liked to have been there.
Well, actually, Brad, that was Rick's one request, was I'll come in studio as long as that Ryder dude's not around.
I'm sure he knows me.
But leaf blower guy, get him in.
Right.
What if Ric Flair is the leaf blower guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be the greatest troll ever.
Before we get out of here, Golden Gopher Basketball Club damn near scored 100 points at home against the University in New Orleans. 97-64 they won. They play their first Big Ten game of the season Sunday night in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. Wonder about the Big Ten season still. We'll see.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier the Pigs. They fired the spray tan man, and suddenly they're the 1983 New York Islanders. Just curb stomp the Boston Predators. What the hell is the town they play in again?
Nashville.
The Nashville Predators. They just beat the new head coach. John Hines is the second coming of Scotty Bowman now. All the kids in town that were shaving their eyebrows to look like Josh Dobbs, now they're shaving their entire heads so they can look like John Hines.
And I apologize to the hockey people in town, but I've never heard of the guy who had the hat trick last night until last night.
Connor Dewar?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not a household name by any stretch of the imagination. He had a hat trick. He actually scored 4 goals. But the fourth one, the head coach of the Predators, one of my favorite all-time members of the, Pig alumni, one of my favorite Pig alumni, Andrew Brunette, who's coaching the Predators, he reviewed the goal, and it got called off because of an offside, or else this Dewar would have had 4 goals.
He had 10 career goals before last night.
Yeah, he's not, Brian Trottier or anything, to make another reference.
Now he is, to your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not Mike Bossy just yet. But next up, the boys play Chicago at home Sunday. And they killed off 4 power plays. Wait a minute. Am I right about that? They killed off 3 power plays last night and 4 against St. Louis the other night. And that was their big weak spot.
Oh, yeah.
They were just getting pummeled shorthanded. Everyone's beaten off because a goalie scored last night in the NHL. It was an empty net goal. It doesn't count.
You didn't think that's cool?
No, it's not cool.
Battle back in the game. They're battling for these loose pucks. Jari, he's going for the empty net. Bouncing towards the goal. He scores! You have witnessed history. Tristan Jari becomes the first goaltender in Pittsburgh Penguins history to actually score a goal.
Witnessed history.
There's never any reason to ever cheer an empty net goal. I do not care the circumstances.
Even if it's the other goalie?
Don't care. My grandmother could have done that when she was alive it's an empty net.
Well, she was a good athlete.
She was a good athlete. Golden Gopher hockey's at Penn State this weekend.
Another bald head coach.
Who,
Bob
Motzko?
Motzko.
Yeah.
All the brightest people are bald. Dana signed up to get dumber.
No.
Way to go, Dana.
You got no hair holding you back.
Usually bald people are smart enough not to make that decision.
You guys are so smart. That's why you're encouraging me to do it, because you knew it would just make me even more stupid than you guys.
Well, no, we assumed you'd look awful. That's why we wanted you to do it. But
that is true.
We were hell-bent on making you look worse. But
we didn't talk you out of it because we said, secretly, Josh and I said, he's going to look like a jackass.
Yeah. We thought it was going to be bad, but we were wrong.
Dana went to a doctor and volunteered to get dumber.
Really? Wow. Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yes, I remember hearing that. When my hair starts to go, I'm taking it all off.
Are you going to shave it down?
Yeah.
Stone cold
Like quickly,
type of a thing?
once it becomes obvious, you're going to start?
Yeah.
You're not going to be in denial for years like me?
Nope. If I start to get a little bit of a bald spot, the whole thing's gone.
George the Animal Steel type of a thing?
Yep.
All right. Well, Brad, thanks for carrying the program this morning without your pal Randy Shaver.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
We do appreciate it, and we hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll jaw jack with you on Monday.
We'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Grace here, customer service rep at Standard Heating. I'm proud to work for a company that understands and takes care of our fellow Minnesotans. Our weather here can be a little unpredictable and even extreme. That's why we've been here for 93 years and counting, to keep our community safe and comfortable.
On behalf of myself and Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, we would like to wish you a very happy holidays. And don't forget, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is open 24/7 for emergency services to make sure you stay warm this holiday season. Go to standardheating.com today.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ritland keeps it real on the Mike Drop podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Rudy Reyes.
The ethics of martial arts is why I joined the Marine Corps. I never thought I was going to join the military because I'd been around so much gun violence, and I wanted to be the antithesis of that. I loved fighting hand to hand. It's fair. You don't have to kill your opponent. You can beat them with ability and skill.
Mike Drop, raw, unfiltered, intellectually sound, wherever you listen.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-assed Morning Show.
Hey, how about that? Yeah, it's 8:30. 8:30. We're back here on the Half-assed Morning Show. It's Friday. It's a beautiful thing. Jordan Maxx is here. Hello, Jordan.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Pleasure is ours.
We wouldn't miss it, for Christ's sake. How's all that porn doing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's doing great.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm actually doing my FA fan shoot on set tomorrow.
Oh, my God.
So that's really exciting.
Here in town, or do you fly out somewhere for this?
No, here in town. The fan actually is flying in.
Oh,
That's
great.
exciting. Cool.
Is it okay to say where he's flying in from? Is it a he, first and
Yes,
foremost?
it's a he.
It's a he?
Yes, he is flying in from California.
Interesting.
Oh, California boy.
Yeah.
That is your first ever EFA fan.
Yes, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I want to get into that. I want to get in on that. I want to try that. Well, that's cool. Because I thought you had one planned at one point and it didn't work, so this is it. This is the first?
Yes.
Is this the same gentleman?
Yes.
Same
Last
guy.
time there was just like a travel issue. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we're excited for you, and say for your fans who watch you on the internet, and how soon before you think that video would be ready to roll.
I'm trying to, I want to get it out before Christmas, like maybe as like a little Christmas gift
Oh, sure.
to my fans, but we'll see.
That's exciting stuff. So that's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have an answer for you, Nick. The other day, we started the show with a friend of mine left me a voicemail, and he was describing a pornography he was watching the night before. And
Pornography, yes.
He watched a single pornography, and it was quite impressive what this woman did.
I remember you telling us about this, yeah.
Yeah, she took two gentlemen.
Oh, my God.
From behind. And then apparently it wasn't doing enough for her, so she added, stuff at the end of her hands.
She did.
Yep.
Yeah, she did. She contributed herself to
the phalanges to the phallus. There was phallus and phalanges,
You'd
right?
think that two dudes would be enough, but she contributed.
Yeah,
Yes.
she looked back and thought, well, okay, I'm going to take care of this myself.
I thought I could take a solid guess as to who the actress was.
Yeah, you had two guesses.
I
right?
had two guesses.
And you wanted him to get back to me and let us all know who it was. So what were your guesses? I can't remember your guesses.
I remember them, and maybe Jordan Maxx is familiar with these ladies. From my experience watching porno movies, two names came to mind when Josh described the amount of cargo that this lady was willing to handle. My two guesses were Belladonna and
a legend.
Yes, absolutely, and Audrey Hollander.
Okay, so it wasn't one of those.
Oh, that's
I couldn't remember what you said, so I didn't even know until right this second.
Belladonna and Audrey Hollander were my guesses.
Jordan, maybe you know this person. Sophia Gently is the name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm familiar with her. I haven't met her.
But okay, you know who that is?
Yeah.
He said he witnessed the act from her hit documentary, Anal Geddon 2.
No.
And in case anyone wants to look it up, it was scene 5.
Scene 5.
We tried to describe it as cleanly as possible, but yeah, so that's, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, there you go.
She does that often.
Oh,
Sophia.
That act?
Yeah,
Gently.
there's a couple picky poos on Google. Yeah, I'm gonna exit this.
Where she assists?
Yep, a lot's happening.
Well, I'll tell you what.
A lot.
Doesn't sound so gentle to me. I'll tell you that right now.
It doesn't sound gentle.
We're a week away from Toys for Tatas, Jordan Maxx.
Yes, that's correct.
Are you available to join us?
Unfortunately, I'm not. I will be in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, shooting a scene.
Well, that's a damn shame.
I
darn
know.
it.
I'm really upset.
Well, because you were a massive hit last year at Toys for Tatas.
Thank you.
What about like an appearance live via satellite? Like sometimes they do at big concerts.
A hologram
we could
of
totally
Jordan
make
Maxx.
that happen.
So you got to go out of town and work.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Understandable.
no, you got to pay the bills, and we'd never get in the way of your real career, obviously, but I'm sure there'll be some disappointed listeners. Well, there's always next year or some other event we can put together.
Absolutely. I would love to. I love meeting the listeners.
Mm-hmm. You seemed like you were having a good time last year.
Yeah.
The art of the lap dance. Did it take some practice at first?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
At first, were you kind of clumsy and you wondered why you weren't getting, what's the word, selected when dancing?
Yeah, I definitely actually we call them baby strippers, like the new strippers.
Baby strippers.
In the wrong
That's
context,
cute.
that could have sounded really weird.
No, right. But actually there's this thing in the club called New Girl Money. So like when you're new, you're like fresh, you're hot, no one's seen you before, everybody wants to try you out. So you get a lot of practice getting better at lap dances, and a lot of times the customers think it's really cute and sweet and endearing that you don't really know what you're doing.
I see. I can totally understand that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
But it takes some.
it does take some skill.
Was there
practice.
another dancer who helped you out at all when you were in that mode where you were a little clumsy and didn't quite know how to?
Oh, yeah, there definitely was. There was a few. Everyone was so supportive. When I first started stripping, I started at the club as a bartender, and then I made the switch. So I was already familiar with the girls I was working with. We were already friends, so they were all super supportive and really kind, and it was a lot of help.
What's more nerve-wracking, being up on stage or just being, on top of a guy's lap?
It really depends on the vibe. Like,
Vibes are important.
vibes are super important.
I'm always putting one out.
Yeah.
People bring it up all the time.
Hell yes, you are.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll have like a great room, there's good energy, maybe there's a birthday party, bachelor party. Being on stage is super fun.
Yeah.
And then,
Sometimes there's 3 guys in the crowd and one of them's asleep.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So when you first started out, what would be, if you could pick just one piece of advice for someone who's going to try to be a better lap dancer in their personal or professional life, what would it be?
Go slow. Like slower than you think you should. Like move like honey.
Yeah.
That's the advice that I got when I
There you
first
go. That's
started.
good advice. Yeah.
Where do you look?
Where do you look?
Yeah.
You always have troubles with the where you look.
Yeah, where do you look? Where the hands go? I mean, what do you do?
Look at the dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Look at them. Put your
Like-
hands through their hair.
Make him nervous.
Yeah.
Eye contact?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My goodness, this is becoming intimate.
Well, Jordan just got done saying that, when she first started out, the other girls were very supportive. The girls don't always get along, though, do they, Jordan?
No, not always.
They don't always. We were reading a story earlier about a strip joint in Thailand. A massive brawl broke out as the girls were all competing for one guy. And it turned into, well, at least the story described it as a Wild West type barroom brawl where everyone's kicking each other's ass. The dude who they were fighting over tried to break it up. They kicked his ass.
Oh, wow.
Cops came. The guy got knocked out cold.
Oh, my God. Were they, like, flipping tables?
Yeah.
Sounds like a little everything.
Yeah.
They were
It was a
dumping
mess.
drop kicks to the jaw and just...
He had blood on his shirt.
Oh, my gosh. Is there a video of this?
I just saw still photos.
I didn't see a video either.
There's video of the...
Just the aftermath.
The aftermath.
Oh, okay.
You ever been in a situation where the girls weren't getting along so good?
No, I was pretty good at avoiding the drama.
Yeah.
I just kind of like would go about my business. But there was one time where there were 3 customers in the club. It was a guy and his best guy friend and his best guy friend's girlfriend. And you could tell she didn't want to be there. She just was having a really bad time. So her boyfriend told her to leave. So she did. But the boyfriend and the best friend stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the best friend bought the boyfriend a lap dance from me. And all of a sudden, the girlfriend reappeared. And I had my back to the door because I was facing the customer.
Sure.
That's how the chair was. And she just yanked me by the shoulders and threw me onto the table.
My God.
And
oh, no way.
Yeah, it was a mess. Like, luckily, security intervened, like, right away. But it could have gone badly.
Oh, I bet you were just ready.
I was like, I was confused more than anything because, like, I got attacked from behind. Like, I was like, what's happening? Who is this?
Oh,
what is
my
going
gosh.
on?
God dang.
And then I just hear screaming, like screeching. And I was like, it all happened so fast.
And then she left, and then you finished the lap dance, right?
Exactly, yes.
You ran into one of those crazy gals.
Yeah.
Jealous gals.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate.
How often does that happen? Not to that extreme, but where some jealousy kicks in at the strip club.
Oh, yeah, where like the wife charges in and catches that kind of a thing.
I've heard of that happening. I've never been involved in a situation like that, though.
It's just unfortunate that it gets taken out on like you guys because you're doing your job.
Right, we're doing our job.
That shouldn't be a surprise what's happening in there.
Right, and we're not trying to take your husbands or your boyfriends. That's like dropping your kids off at daycare and expecting the daycare people to like kidnap your kids. Like,
I love that. That's a really good way to put it.
You know, like we're there to work. We're there to have fun. We're there to work. We're there to provide a good environment, fun environment, good experiences, and then we go home at the end of the night to our cats or our significant others.
It's an excellent analogy.
Thank you.
You drop the kids off at daycare care. Doesn't mean they want to keep them.
Right.
You know, this is a great question from Double D Jesus, and I bet this is something a lot of us have wondered. Can you ask Jordan, it says, is there a polite way to say to a girl you aren't interested in a lap dance from her? Last year, she was at a club, and there was a particular woman that wouldn't leave her alone, and to the point where she almost just paid her to leave, but she didn't know how to do it politely.
Huh.
Yeah, in that situation, I mean, the best thing to do is just be direct. Like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested right now.
Yeah.
Or, like, don't even say right now, because then that gives them the opportunity to come back later. Just be like, just say, I'm sorry, you're not my type.
Right.
Oh, really? You can say I'd have to make up a super long excuse why I couldn't.
No, like we get rejected over and over again. We have pretty thick skin. I know I personally wouldn't be offended if someone told me I wasn't there. Actually, customers did have told, oh, I'm sorry, I don't like blondes. I'm like, oh, you like a brunette? Like, do you want me to bring a brunette over here for you? Like, so.
I've been in that situation where, I mean, I'm with Jordan on this one. Just be direct and be honest and just say, no, thanks. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
What the hell's the problem with that? And I have had girls in the past at the Boom Boom Room offer to introduce me to a girl that I might like. You know what I'm saying? Like you were just saying, and that's great. I don't see why it's got to be a problem. Wow,
well, I think just it's not a problem. It's you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. If you're not experienced, you don't go very often.
Yeah, I get anxious.
No. What I mean is, I don't know why this stripper, Double D Jesus was explaining that this stripper would not let it go.
No, she just wouldn't go away.
She wouldn't go away.
Yeah, and so she didn't want to hurt her feelings, so she was wondering what could I say to just, make her go away politely.
Okay, yeah. You never know. But just be honest and direct, and I think that ought to be.
Yeah, it's a business. It's a job. We have fun doing it. We like to do it. That's why we do it. But, our feelings aren't going to get hurt if someone says, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, you're not my type.
Yeah, it's the same as when I walk up and say, can I get a lap dance? And she says, sorry, I'm not interested, you're not my type. You know what I mean? I've had that before. Hey, are you busy? Yeah.
Nick, do you know what a type is?
What? Do I know what a type is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a type.
I like all of them.
Yeah. There's no type for
But I
you.
know what other people mean by
All
it
right,
as a
so
type.
you understand
Yes,
the
I understand
concept.
the concept and the theory.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
Yeah, we're here with our adult film star friend Jordan Maxx, looking lovely this morning. Jordan, unfortunately, yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Jordan, unfortunately, just dumped the bad news on us a few minutes ago that she will not be able to make it to next week's Toys for Tatas. She's got to go out of town and work. So the question is, who's going to take her place? Text in if you want to be our guest amateur stripper at this year's Toys for Tatas. Can we do that? We can't do that,
I've
can we?
always wanted to try that, but I need there to be nobody in the air. Maybe
Nobody
just
there.
maybe 2 people that I know have no connection to me whatsoever. They don't know my dad. They don't know my mom.
So really, honestly, you've wanted to go to an amateur night or something?
It looks like fun.
Amateur night's super fun.
Yeah, one of my girlfriends did it for a little bit to help pay for some school, and she said it was a blast. The girls were all super sweet. She actually did it at Rick's Cabaret.
Could we do that? Could we get an amateur?
I think we could.
Honestly, why not?
I don't qualify. You're
No.
saying amateur?
Yes,
I'm
right.
sorry, I can't. I'm out.
That'd be kind of exciting to be able to say, at next week's Toys for Tatas, we're debuting a listener, a brand new, amateur dancer to the scene. I don't know. We'll have to make some phone calls, but I used to work amateur night at Rick's Cabaret years ago, and not as a dancer, of course, but as an MC, a host many years ago. And it was a lot of fun, Jordan. The vibe was great. The people would bring their friends in
Yeah, you got to have an audience to cheer for you.
to support them.
Yeah.
And most of the gals did really well. Really well. And it was kind of fun, just knowing they've never done this before, seeing their faces, backstage before we would go out there together.
I'd throw up a little.
Most of them did. I got to tell you, Ashley, there was one gal who seemed extra nervous one night, and I could just tell the way she was walking around backstage that she was very nervous. She got out there, which is more balls than a lot of us have, right? She walked out there, she got introduced, she did, I believe, if I remember correctly, one spin, one little twerk, and then the fear overwhelmed her and she ran like hell. We all felt really bad.
I bet.
I talked to her again, and the DJ there, Dusty, talked to her and said, she just said, I'm sorry, I punked out. And we said, don't worry about it. You got out there, you did more than most would. She felt okay when she left, but we did feel really bad. And then the girls all walked up and said, the legitimate professional working
that's great.
dancers said, happens all the time. I was scared
That's
the first,
nice.
So it was a fun vibe.
We have some volunteers. Dental Babe She's has said she's taken some classes and she's, quote, down to make an ass of herself.
She's down.
Yes.
Well, I would. That'd be fun if you want to get up there. Built like a house, hung like a mouse. Jesus said, I will volunteer to be the guest stripper.
Oh, God.
And he says, I'm a little pudgy now, so just a heads up.
You know what? That'd be cool. Yeah, let's get a man up there.
Appreciate the warning. Well, maybe like
Did you
I
say
said,
get a man up there?
Yeah, let's get a man up
Again, I'm out.
maybe we'll try to make some phone calls. That would be exciting.
Yeah, if there was a whole segment, maybe we could get a few people that want to get up
God
there.
help. But I don't want to piss off the girls who are working there legitimately, you know what I mean?
Oh, true. Don't want to steal any of their money.
That's where the phone calls would come into play.
Well, just on stage they wouldn't care, right?
Probably.
Or would they?
I don't know. Ask
I was
Jordan.
just picturing just on stage.
Yeah, we're not going to be. No
It's a
one's going to
special
be
event.
doing any lap dances, I don't think. would that bother you if you were working, Jordan, and a few new girls got up on stage?
Like it's a charity event.
Charity event?
No, absolutely not.
All
It's
right.
for charity.
All right, we'll find this out.
If nobody shows up, Wapple, you got to don the dress again, get up there and sex it up.
No, that's never going to happen again. It was gross. It was unnecessary. It was stupid. We're never doing that again.
Something. You were on meth or something.
Not at all.
You were sweating so bad.
Those lights are so hot.
They are hot, Waffle.
A lot of folks are texting in and have been for a couple days, Jordan Maxx, saying they saw you on television at AEW Dynamite.
That's true. I was there.
Did you have a great time?
It was so much fun.
Because we know you're a big wrestling fan.
I love that you're a wrestling
I am a big wrestling fan. I love going to live events. That's like my most favorite thing.
Mm-hmm. Was there a highlight of the show, in your opinion?
Highlight of the show? Probably seeing Dante Martin back in action.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
out. He's our local boy. Him and Darius.
Yeah.
I've been watching them wrestle for the past few years now, like here in local promotions.
Right.
And then on AEW. So it was just really fun. The crowd was electric. They did really good. I personally am a big fan of the wrestling. Like, I know a lot of people like fists, but I like flips. I think that's really entertaining.
Flips over fists.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, yeah, Dante and Darius are effing terrific. Mm-hmm. They are so friggin' good, and we're all so proud of them. It's ridiculous. I love seeing those guys. Well, you know, some of the wrestlers are pals of yours, right? I mean, so did you get a chance to talk to any of the performers beforehand or anything?
No, not in person. We were texting a little bit, but show days are always so busy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get in the way.
Right on. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
How was Ric Flair? I heard there was woo-offs like in the parking lot even before the event started.
I don't know. I got there a little late, so
What?
I got there about 15 minutes after they started.
Oh, I picture you as the dork that's sitting there like an hour before show.
Yeah, me too.
No, never. I'm surprised I'm on time to get here. I'm like a chronically late person. It's just how I am.
Well, I don't think you've ever been late for this program.
Not at all.
No.
All right, and I hope this doesn't go nowhere, but a few people are checking in wanting us to ask you about Bob. Supposedly Bob was the highlight of the show.
He was. We love Bob. Bob was a crew member who Justin, the announcer, brought out, and everybody cheered for him. And then Brian Danielson, came out and cut a promo about how he's better than Bob, and it was comedy. It was great.
Yeah, you know, plenty of people text in about Bob and said the same thing. He was, what'd you say his role was again?
He's just a crew member.
He's a crew guy, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's just like this sweet older gentleman. He looks like he could be your dad. Just very wholesome.
Well, that's nice, and we're glad you had a good time at AEW. And I hope they come back to town pretty soon.
Did you know we had Ric Flair in studio?
I did not know until after the fact.
Oh, you know what? We should have given you. Actually, that probably.
My invite must have gotten lost in the mail.
Oh shoot! I feel terrible about it. We should have thought about that.
Here's the thing: in Rick's fragile condition, we knew Janelle Klein was going to be here.
That was something.
If you would have been here too, it may have been too much for the old boy to handle.
Nate might not have made the show that night.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
Yes. No way we could have doubled up on the Nate.
Darn, I was just going to say how great he was, but I'll leave that out. Yeah, shoot. We should have thought to bring.
He was terrible. You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, nobody said anything positive about it.
We actually do have wrestling tickets to give out if you want to do that.
What
are
you
you
serious?
talking about?
Yeah, we've got First Wrestling. They're doing a wrestling event down at Treasure Island Event Center. It's called Hot Streak. And on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, if you text RING, R-I-N-G, to 651-989-9393, you'll win a shot for these tickets. They're furnished by Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
Cool.
I'd forgotten all about those, Wapple. Thanks for remembering that. The Hot Streak show put on by the folks at First Wrestling. All right, Treasure Island Resort and Casino. The word is RING, 651-989-9393. Before we get out of here, Jordan, let folks know where they can find you and all the excitement around your F a Fan video tomorrow.
Yeah, so you can find all my social media links on jordanmax.com. That's Max with 2 X's. And the F a Fan video will be posted to my Pornhub and my OnlyFans.
That's outstanding. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I love
welcome.
being here.
Love having
you.
Love
having you. And sorry we're going to miss you next Friday, but hopefully we can get you in studio again soon.
Definitely.
Happy 43rd birthday tomorrow to P-Man from Angie, Mackenzie, and Piper. John Deere Jesus also has a birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday, broski. Happy 57th to Claims Juice Jesus. Happy 23rd to Jeremy from Mom, Dad, retired Air Force Jesus, and your insanely large family. Happy birthday to Fish Slayer Jesus' sexy wife, White Sugar Jesus, who he says he'll give her spankings to later.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
On behalf of myself and Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, we would like to wish you a very happy holidays. And don't forget, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is open 24/7 for emergency services to make sure you stay warm this holiday season. Go to standardheating.com today.